This Wednesday coop. It's a rainy day in the A.
Rainy days.
Rainy days, right.
Sit back and think ways of how to get rich, son.
Yes,
Show
sir.
improve. Ask my bitch.
You know what, man? Speaking of which, so
Deal with my AI likes.
I was messing around online today, and I found somebody was ranking like all the Wu-Tang albums from like worst to first or whatever. And number 13 was You God's album. And I've never really listened to You God's solo album. And they had nothing but terrible things to say about it. I hate that, you know what I'm saying, You God gets this kind of reaction because I think You God's a dope MC. Anyway, Immobilarity was like number 11 or something. And then I went and listened to Live from New York. Live from New York is dope. Live from New York is dope, and so is Sneakers. Yes. Live from New York could have used Prodigy on it.
He's in the video.
He was in the video, yes. It could have used him on it. But yeah, I just want to say that. Yeah, Golden Arms Redemption. It was better than what people made it seem. The first
production was solid.
I haven't listened to Golden Arms Redemption in forever, probably since the day it came out. But yeah, man, I just hate that, somebody like You Guy, who's a dope MC, who has a whole lot of important appearances, constantly gets the short end of the stick when it comes to, Wu-Tang conversations. Because I think everybody kind of has him last, and I don't even know if that is, I don't know if that's fair to him. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I was listening to Live from New York.
Well, here's what I'll tell you, Mike, because it's kind of funny. This is the beautiful thing about hip hop and the tangents that we can go on. Because I was actually having this thought, because I was actually like rapping Knowledge God to myself earlier, and then I stopped and I told myself, I was like, hold on, what 3 songs with just Ghost on them on Supreme Clientele are better than Knowledge God, Incarcerated Scarfaces, and Spot Rushers? Because that's all Ray. And so you always talk about Supreme, and I've always said this, and this is no disrespect to Ghost, because like with most Wu-Tang efforts, strongest songs tend to be like, company outings, and I don't know if I know there are 3 Ghost solo records on there, but I don't think they're Knowledge God, Spot Rushers, and Incarcerated Scarfaces. So I think you might need to have to change maybe some of that perspective about how you feel about Ray as a solo songmaker, or what say you? Or do you have some proof of songs on Supreme
I do
Clientele?
have proof of songs, and that would be throughout. But I mean, off top, what I would say is I would go Mighty Healthy, and Malcolm, or something to that degree.
That's the same level, though. That's not like exceeding Knowledge God and Spot Rushers.
And again, you make up a great point. And I know you're a Ray guy, you're a Prodigy guy. They live in a similar vein. But when I listened to Supreme Clientele the other day, I was actually listening to it the other day. It feels like Ghost is a solo act on there. And I think you and I have talked about this before. Even though it does have the features on it, it doesn't really feel like that, because it feels like he dominates on every appearance that he's on that album. And one thing that I think Ghost was really good for in that era is he elevated everybody's performances. And that's what Ray did, I would say, in the 95, 96 era of Wu. But in the later era of Wu, that was kind of Ghost doing that. And he did it in a way, maybe because he's so flashy with it, but it feels like he's a soloist, man. It doesn't feel like he's leaning on anyone, even if he does have features on there. Like, and again, we talking about You God. I think Shay Shay Lagos is one of the bigger hits from Wu-Tang in that era. And he's on there, and You God's on there, but we treat it like it's just Ghost because Ghost is just so big. You know what I mean? Like, do you really feel like, and I say this respectfully, do you really feel like if You God wasn't on there, we got an additional Ghostface verse, that song loses anything?
No, but I could say that about a lot of other records. I could say that about some records that are on the purple tape, Mike. That's why I'm bringing up
You
Spot
think so?
Rushers. Well, you've acknowledged this yourself, Mike. You've said that on the purple tape and on Iron Man, Ray is a better rapper than Ghost. Is
He
that
is.
correct?
I agree.
So who's to say that Ray can't just come back with a second verse after the Master Killer verse on Glaciers of Ice? Or who's to say that Ray can't take on Rainy Days by himself? You feel what I'm saying? Like you don't really know these things. Like
You're
even
right.
with knuckleheads, Mike. Like because with Knowledge God and Incarcerated Scarfaces and Spot Rushers and even like something like Faster Blade, which is a solo shot on Iron Man. It's like, no, don't tell me that he couldn't have done that around that time frame. So the same thing that you're saying about, well, you could take such and such off and Ghost still, I mean, you could say the same thing about Ray with Ghost right there.
I agree, but I feel like we have a lot more evidence of Ghost being able to fill in those blanks than we do Ray.
Ghost is still the superior album maker. Even Ray would tell you that. So nod to him on that. But as far as like this notion that this is what I mean about this gap. This gap exists because I think people because Ghost over the course of time has become at least on a musical sense, the star of the group. Like, because that's happened, I think sometimes people now look at the purple tape and look at it like he was on every song with Ray. And it's like, nah, he's not. And if you remember who Ray was in 95 and 96, it's like, well, I mean, not saying he didn't need Ghost because I think they needed each other, but not like people is making it out to be now today.
I think what makes Supreme Clientele different, too, is it's that first Wu-Tang album that was outside of the first generation and didn't have RZA producing a bulk of it, even though I know he was executive producer.
That's the difference.
You know, and I think that's what makes it like, okay, Ghost has stepped up and stepped out where this isn't just the brilliance of this Wu-Tang collective anymore. This feels like this guy could have came out without the crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how Supreme Clientele feels.
Not the same, not the same person. You know, some of the same like funky personality, but Supreme Clientele kind of has a my prerogative type of feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like you still got the same
everybody
flavor.
In the group is dope, but it's like no. This dude like stepped out like on some different solo shit.
Yeah,
and the sound's a little different than the classic stuff that you're used to hearing from him in the confines in the group. Like something like One, Mike. Like One's the type of record that's not in their like catalog before.
Because we saw Method Man attempt to do it first with Takal 2000, and it didn't really go over as well. It made us miss the original Wu-Tang sound. I think Old Dirty did a good job, but Old Dirty is such an outlier, period. Like, he did a good job with Nigga Please by switching it up, getting with the Neptunes and all of that. But, yeah, it's great. But Ghost did something different, and we can't discount the fact that Ghost made probably, I know it came out in 2000, one of the stronger hip hop albums of the 2000s.
See, but
and
that's
that
what
carries
I'm saying.
a long way.
See, this is what I mean about how this gap exists in people's mind. You're like, well, Ghost made one of the stronger albums of the 2000s. It's like, dude, Ray made one of the stronger albums of all time and maybe rap's strongest year ever.
I agree, but Ghostface is on there a lot. So it's like, I think that's why that balances that part out.
But that's what I'm saying. Ghost is there. But Mike, there's plenty of evidence that said that album would have been made at that level. Because here's what it is, Mike. It's still the best beat tape ever.
Well, all right. So I feel
best
like
beat tape ever, Mike.
I feel like the Purple Tape and Iron Man and the help that was there, it balances each other out. How many songs is Ray on Supreme Clientele?
3, 2, 2. He's on.
And if he was on
one of the Apollo Kids.
And I think if he was on a good amount of those records, we would probably still have that same argument today. But the fact that, and I know he has other people on it, but the fact that Ray, who he has shared 2 albums with, pretty much, is only on 2 records on there, and he made what many people feel is a classic, I think that's kind of a separating piece too.
So let me ask you something. On what songs on the Purple Tape does Ghost steal the show from Ray exactly?
Um, check out the Rap Kingpin. No, I wouldn't say that. I think they're pretty much. Well, all right. I'll say this. I think Ray is the better rapper on both albums, but I think they're pretty much even. I don't think anybody's really stealing the show from anyone. I would say, really, unpopular opinion, maybe Ice Cream, because I think Ghostface stole the show verse wise on that
Method Man's
song.
the star of Ice Cream.
Huh?
Method Man's
Of
the star.
course he is. But I'm just talking about from a rap standpoint. That goddamn backyard's banging like a Benzie. If I was Jiggy, you'd be spotted like Spud McKenzie. I'm hot power, put Adina Howard to sleep my part. And you know what I'm saying? That chick in the video and all that, like that sticks in my memory. You know what I mean?
No. I can see that because Ray's verse on Ice Cream isn't like one of his best verses on that album. He definitely has better stuff on that.
Shaolin's finest. I love his verse. What up, boo? Peace, Shahan. Show I'm lounging. Big dick style up, Nick says flies. Yeah, I like that verse, but I would say Ghost probably stole the show on there.
Mike, unpopular opinion. I actually thought Kappa had the best verse.
And I was gonna say Kappa.
Even though I'm not a big Kappa fan, because the way he comes in, black chocolate girl, wonder shaped round like thunder. Politic to your deficit step. Give me your number.
Man, Kappa is that dude. Tripping.
That's like maybe the best he's ever came in on a record, in my opinion. I love the way he comes in on that.
Let me get to the super
chat. Like in terms of how he slides in.
Oh yeah, he killed it. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Happy Wednesday. Before we get into it, do you think that When I Be on the Mic by Rakim is the last iconic DJ Premier track? It's kind of the end of an era. That is a great track, but is that the last? Is that the last? You know what? I would say.
When did Boom get
I would say Boom. Yeah, that's where I was gonna go. Boom was like 2002. Mathematics is even after that. So no. And I think 6 Cents is around that time.
Yeah.
Our man with the super chat says, peace, R.I.P. Harry Belafonte, the first artist to sell 1 million records. Never knew that. R.I.P. to Harry Belafonte, 96 years old. He definitely lived a full life, historic life, broke down so many doors, barriers, and the hip-hop community showing love to him too. But yes, I was listening to Live from New York. That's how we got on that tangent. But yeah, Capadonna killed.
I was meaning to
Kanye.
ask you about the Ray Ghost thing anyway, because I'd been rapping Knowledge God to myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just said Rainy Days, and I was like, yeah.
Well, see, it didn't stop with Supreme Clientele. I think we feel like Ghost kind of turned a corner on Wu-Tang Forever. Who would you say, all right, if you're ranking, let's just say Wu-Tang Forever is the first and only Wu-Tang album you've ever heard. How are you ranking those members based on that album alone?
On that album?
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to tell you what. I think Ghost has the best verse on Wu-Tang Forever and Impossible. Maybe second best verse after the Deck verse. So it's like Triumph and Impossible. And those are two of the best verses ever, too, by the way. Those aren't like, even just like you could argue about which one of those deserve to be verse of the year. I think Deck's verse got hip-hop quotable and Ghost's verse actually got verse of the year. Or it was the verse at the end of the year. Right. In the source. But I'll tell you, Meth is still the star overall on Wu-Tang Forever, Mike.
Most definitely.
If you really want to know the truth, Meth is still number one. If you were to listen to it, because think about it, Mike, Reunited, Cash Still Rules. He's the one that keeps Triumph going after Deck obliterates it. He's
was it Duck Season where he went crazy? He went crazy on one of those records that's like, an album song. Is it Duck Season?
Deadly Medley and
Deadly Medley, yes, and Duck Season, yeah.
And Duck Season. That's what I'm saying.
Even his verse on, where he's like, Apocalypse Now, Mind Over Matter, Next Batter Beats a Cat.
Visions.
Yeah, Vision. Well, no, not Visions. This is on disc 1. Visions is hard too. It is Visions. I'm thinking about. You're saying
Apocalypse Now. That's Visions.
Yeah, that's Visions, and a lot of people are on there too. And a lot of people are spitting on there, but he's still the star. So I'm not mad at Method Man being number one there. He is in the middle on the album cover on some Andre 3000 shit.
After Meth, I would probably go Ghost and Ray in that order.
Okay.
You know,
You
so it
would
would go
put
Meth,
Ray's
Ghost, Ray.
performance
But
over Deck's performance on this album?
see, this is what I mean is that okay, like outside of Triumph, what's the Deck verse that you really remember? Deck is always lyrically precise, and I know that. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that. But what do you remember? You remember Ray and Ghost on the MGM. You remember both of them on Bells of War. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, there's Ghost verse on Impossible. There's Older Gods with Jizza. That's the jewel of Wu-Tang Forever that nobody talks about, I think, in my opinion. There's Ray's verse on It's Yours. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't like my rap style swings like Willie Mays, my eyes purple haze, my solar rays are burned through shades.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so what's better, that one or Ray's verse on It's Yours?
Machine gun rap for all my niggas in the back, stadium pack, linebacker nigga, flash gas, see through yellow lines, rock a fly jersey in the summertime car. Magic Walker rap, leave in a dime, relax, wrote this. But that got a mean verse on there too, though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Got
Ray's the one that set that song off. Like I told you,
he did set it off.
That's verse on It's Yours.
No, he set it off. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm biased. I like Ghost's verse on this.
So I would tell you, but in that order, I would go Meth, Ghost, Ray, Deck. In that order.
I will say this, and somebody in the chat says Ray is the star of Wu-Tang Forever.
A lot of people
Ray
feel
is definitely on the most songs. Like, I remember hearing Wu-Tang Forever for the first time. That was my takeaway. I'm like, yo, Ray is like really the anchor of this group.
Well, because he's the competitive guy, and he can hear that Deck is at his zenith, Ghost is at his zenith, Meth is still floating at a very, very high capacity. So he's the competitive guy. He's the glue guy. So he's the guy that's in there getting charged up by all what he's hearing.
It's like Big Boy on the Dungeon Family album. Like,
yes,
I'm everywhere. I'm holding it down. You know who really held it down on that Dungeon Family album, man, and doesn't get enough credit for it? CeeLo. CeeLo really held it down because at the same time, and I want to say like months apart, he was recording his first solo album, CeeLo's Perfect Imperfections, which is a really dope album, by the way. So while he was doing that, he's on damn near every song on the Dungeon Family album, while everybody's favorite only gave them one verse on the album.
Oh, we're not going to get into all that, and I believe it's.
But I'm just saying, you know. And it is the anniversary of Southernplayalistic Funky Cadillac music. 29 years ago today, OutKast released their debut album, Southernplayalistic Funky Cadillac Music, which put Atlanta hip-hop on the map, essentially. Can we agree with that?
Oh.
Because I know a lot of people like to say, you know, Criss Cross is there. And
ain't nobody trying to hear all that.
And I love Criss Cross, and Criss Cross is extremely successful. But it's just like what I say with the Luda and T.I. thing. We needed somebody to break into mainstream, yes. You know what I'm saying? And Criss Cross did that. I remember seeing Criss Cross on TV. I never really felt like, you know, I knew they were from Atlanta, but I never felt like it was Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like they had jerseys on from all different cities and all that. And it was cool. Like they were great. We were kids at the same time, so they were somebody that was like, yo, these guys are dope, whatever. But when Cass hit, it felt a little different. It was like these guys were shouting out, you know, different areas in the city that you've been around, and they were talking in more of a relatable type of way for people who were here to experience it. Kind of like how when we listen to Mobb Deep or Nas or whatever, we hear about Queensbridge, and we hear about those different areas that they grew up around. That's how it felt when Cass and Goody came out, but Cass came first. And yeah, and it was like, wow, these guys are on TV and they talking about Greenbrier Mall. That's crazy.
Right. At the time, it seemed crazy to us. Well, here's what I'll also tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time, and this is why it's no disrespect to Criss Cross, but other hip-hop heads from other hip-hop cities weren't checking for Atlanta on a hip-hop level, like on some rap shit until Southernplayalistic. You know what I mean? Because that's the album. And I think that's just the Southern album. I mean, in particular for Atlanta, but for the South in general, where people were like, stop, hold up, wait, the Southern dudes can rhyme. That's the
So to
album.
you,
Hold on.
what
Well,
separates that album from Coming Out Hard,
well, I was about
Ghetto Boys album, and stuff like that?
what I was about to say is that outside of Scarface, I don't think that the relatability is there on the classic Southern albums before. I think Scarface just touches a nerve with the inner city because he's just that type of artist. But I think outside of him, the relatability for other Black hip hop culture areas, I think that our style of music down here was kind of lost on them until Southernplayalistic, because it is, Mike, it is different stylistically and production wise than any Southern album before it. It
Is
is
it the
like
palatability?
some of it is the boom bap nature of it. I was actually about to say, like, like Ain't No Thing has a Southern feel to it, but it feels like it's on some rap shit too. You know what I'm saying? It's the first album where it's like, no, they talking their shit, but it's like they on some rap shit too. Like the shit that they saying is fly. And not just fly in the sense of like showing off the neighborhood,
Yeah.
like the previous classic albums do. Like, no, like fly on some rap shit. Like the way the guys is putting the words together. Like
Right.
how they putting 357 to your forehead. There'll be more dead because, bro, will Lord forgive me? I got to keep my millie right in it. No, they was flowing different. Yeah, it was different.
I think Cass had to come first, between them and Goody Mob because, again, the palatability, however you say that. I think that clearly these guys were from the South because of their dialect and slang, but they had a delivery that was reminiscent of some other regions that we had heard before that we already had co-signed and were dope. I mean, a lot of people thought stylistically they were from like the hieroglyphic camp. But when you actually hear the words and the slang and the dialect, it's clear that we're not from there. There's influences from all over the place, and not to mention from a production standpoint, I really think I got to give kudos to Organized Noise for producing this album. I think they did a masterful job. I used to always say I think it's the best produced hip hop album in 1994. I got all kind of flack for that, but I think what they did, they took G-Funk without biting and added their own flair to it and added that Southern funk to it. You know what I'm saying? And those sounds on that album are so big. Those choruses are so big.
I think
And it made those songs big.
It just slow. I think a lot of what they did too is that they didn't just like take some of the G-Funk stuff. They slowed down a lot of the 808 stuff.
Yeah. Like
some of that stuff is the 808 slowed down.
Get Up, Get Out is a great beat. Like it's great.
Yeah. Like even think about Hootie Hoo. Mm-hmm. Boom, 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 boom. But I mean, think about that. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? They just slowed down a lot of the tempos and made it more hip hop based instead of like Southern, like 808 booty shake, or even like, you know what I mean? And here's the thing, like the sounds. This is what I mean. The sounds on a Southern rap album, like it really did feel like the shit was being played live.
It was.
And it was.
It was. That's right. The other thing. And that's why I say what I say about it being the best produced hip-hop album of 94 to me, because they actually brought live instruments in there. There's guitar solos on there. Like, that was unheard of in hip-hop in 1994.
Like, everybody, like, down here, like, laughed, like, on the skit where it's like, white folks in Bankhead, Buckhead. It's like, oh, no, don't get those two confused. Don't come down here and get those two messed up.
It's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
And you know
so
what?
That's part of it, too.
And another reason why I want to give Organized Noise a lot of props, too, and I've said this on the show before, I think that, as young as Dre and Big Boy were, they clearly were still finding themselves as artists and as young men, because we saw them continuously evolve over the course of their career. I feel like, man, Organized did a great job of basically setting that foundation for them and kind of guiding them through this album. You know what I'm saying? And this album's not what it is without their guidance. You could tell they're a little older, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more experienced, and they gave these young MCs some direction, and those guys made a classic. Because Get Up, Get Out is one of those records that, with the wrong track behind it, that could be a corny record. But they came with a banging ass beat and had a message with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're
Like,
saying.
that could have been very after school specialist if it was done the wrong way. But with the production and how they put it together, they turned a positive record into a banger. That's not easy to do.
You're right. And it's one of the better records on the album. I was
Straight
actually
up.
going to ask you, what is your favorite song
Who?
on Southern
My
Playlist?
favorite song is not the best song. You know, I'm consistent with that.
Well, give me both. Give me both. What's the
I
best
think,
song?
you know what?
What's your favorite song?
Pound for pound, though, I must say, I think Get Up, Get Out's probably the best song, and I'm saying the version with CeeLo and Gip on it, because I know the radio version kind of leaves Gip out. But yeah, with all four of those verses, I think that's probably technically the best song. But not Call It a While.
Claiming True.
Claiming True is my favorite song, personally. Okay. Yeah.
I think the best song on there is actually Crumbling Herb.
I thought you were going to say that was your favorite. But again,
no.
That's organized genius again.
But also, too, but this is what I'm saying, like, they were talking different than other Southern rappers. Like, let me dig into your brain, folks falling like rain. Poverty got me selling things, guess I'm going to explain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jane is thrown up, no gangs is thrown. Yeah.
Thrown up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, Andre got action. It sweat like Keith.
It's like man, Andre, you could tell Andre on that album was kind of, he was all over the place as far as how he wanted to approach rap. He kind of approached certain things from a positive lens, and then there was a street element there, and then there was still a rebellious element. You could tell that this is an 18, 19-year-old still finding themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing, even going back and listening to it. Like, listening to records like Hootie Hoo and how he approaches it. It's like, yeah, this man is really, this teenager is finding himself.
I'm making 300 on my SAT. Yeah, I am equal. Ain't no sequel, no saga, no way out. I'm nervous. I've had it up the forehead of suckers trying to serve us. To graduate is really becoming a very stressful journey. Yeah. I feel like a steering wheel because them is trying to turn me into a hate monger, and I wishing and I wonder. Damn, will I graduate before I hit the summer? I think not.
Yeah. You know, y'all telling me that I need to get out and vote? Huh. Why? Like, these are real thoughts from a 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah. But Ain't No Thing is my favorite song. Like,
Ain't No Thing is special.
Song, but Ain't No Thing is my jam.
Yeah. Ain't No Thing is special because we have hip hop's, you know, in most circles, hip hop's greatest duo with their rap skills where they are, rapping 2 full 16-bar verses each. I don't think we ever got that again.
And Big Boy freestyle in the outro. It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And they got the hook with the back and forth. It's their only record like that.
Yeah, it really is. It's a very special record in that regard.
Super special.
The production is special too. Chris Love and Poon Daddy used to play that track before their show too.
I still think it's one of their 10 best songs I've ever heard.
Okay.
Always felt that way. Yeah.
Smile and Wave with the super chat says, just showing love. Haven't caught a live in a while, but you guys are still running it. Target on. Love the talk. Appreciate that. Appreciate you checking in and everybody else checking in. What is y'all favorite song on Southernplayalistic? Y'all probably are saying it. But yeah, I mean, I think the reason why Southernplayalistic in a lot of people's minds gets put behind ATLians, and some people put Akumenai behind ATLians, it's because clearly those guys weren't the rappers on this album that they became. But this album has more balance to me overall than ATLians was able to display. I think ATLians is kind of their boom bap album, but there's no funky ride moment on ATLians.
You put Jack Harlow as the title of the show.
Oh, I did. I mean, what should the title of the show be?
Oh
It's
shit,
not a
I
lot
don't
going on.
know.
I mean, Jack Harlow is releasing an album. That's what's happening. I mean, it's a big release, right? Like last time he was released in between Pusha T, Kendrick, and Future. So I guess that means some of the big boys is coming back out to play. I don't know.
It's very problematic that you gave Jack Harlow some run.
but but yeah, I mean, for me, I think that this album was just more rounded than ATLiens, and I think it was just a lot more at stake too.
Yeah,
Can you imagine if ATLiens would have came first?
because part of the buy-in with Elevators is the fact that they had made something so great before. It gave them the space to try new things. They had made a classic album out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like classic in the sense of like just people in the South saying it was classic. It's like, no, you legitimately had like other people outside of this region. It's like, hold on, like that sounds like a classic hip hop album.
I mean, what the source gave it 4.5 mics? That's
And
big. In
they shorted them.
1994?
And they shorted them because really, I mean, Mike, what's the weakest track? I mean, before we move, what's the weakest track on Southernplayalistic?
The one you were just quoting, I think. I think Call of the Wild is the weakest
All in a
track.
while? If that's the weakest track on your album, yeah, then you have a flawless album on your hands.
And you know why I think, and again, where I give credit, I guess you got to put blame too. I think the production's the problem with that song.
Parquet.
Yeah. Now,
How do
because
you
it's
like
not the
hot
lyrics.
butter melted between your biscuits?
This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting though that people kind of put Southernplayalistic as that album that not only put Atlanta on the map nationally, but the South. And again, that's no disrespect to the Ghetto Boys, Scarface, UGK, 8 Ball, and MJG.
Well,
I think these guys just made something that was commercially viable and critically acclaimed from a hip hop standpoint. And I think that that's what the other ones didn't do.
Well, Mike, respectfully speaking,
Mm-hmm.
up to that point, it was the best Southern rap album that had ever been made because Scarface hadn't released The Diary yet, which was coming. And the only other real valid case I think you may have would be for Coming Out Hard.
Oh, Coming Out Hard.
And
listen,
and Scarface's
Mr. Scarface is back.
Mr. Scarface is back. And I'm sorry, and we all know this. As great as we love those albums down here, it's like those albums are not better than Southernplayalistic, and we all know it. So up to the point that it got released, it was the best rap album that had ever came out of the South.
I love Coming Out Hard. I think Coming Out Hard is 8 Ball MJG's best album. I think it's, to me, better than any UGK album. I don't think it's better than Southernplayalistic. But if somebody said that, I wouldn't be mad. But this is what I will tell you that's definitive between the two. Southernplayalistic's going to make a bigger impact just based on the songs that's on there. You know what I'm saying?
I hate doing this, but it's like, and not on some like single shit, but it's like, no, really, where's the Players Ball?
Yeah.
Where's the Southernplayalistic Cadillac Music? Hold on. Where's the content of Get Up, Get Out?
Mm-hmm.
Or Deep?
This is what we can say.
Frankly, when it comes to some player talk, it's like, I'm sorry, like, as much as I love Coming Out Hard, there's not a hootie who on Coming Out Hard either.
It's probably the most balanced hip-hop record to come out of the South.
Big Boy's verse on Hootie Who? See, people always talk about Dre's verse because of how he ended it. No, it's how Big Boy comes in. Follow the funk from the skunk from the dank that is crunk.
I mean, he set it off.
Mike, I didn't know, I had never heard the words dank or crunk until that verse.
Yeah, man.
Follow the funk from the smoke of the dank that is crunk in the dungeon. Why it goes on and on and on like that. Going out to the Jeeps and the hoes and the lack. I'm sorry, there's not a song on Coming Out Hard that's like that.
And this nigga comes in there. I be thinking about the good old days. When I was a whippersnapper, used to try to get a kiss, but never beat them draws I'm after. It's just a Southernplayalistic pimp. I used to slang a fat rock, but now I'm serving him. I never even smoked a crumb of crap, but yo, I'm dope. This is before the beat even comes in.
Right, but don't put in a junkie or a poopy because it's own.
So each one, teach one. I be claiming true to East Point and College Park and the things I used to do around 88. Home of the
Home
pimps
of
and
the
the money
pimps and the
makers.
money makers.
Club
Club
Nickies, Magic
Nickies,
City.
Magic City, and the Southern Players.
I never said I was a
a
gangster,
gangster,
but I
but
will
I
do.
will
Yeah,
do
I
ya.
mean, he's a
Hallelujah,
star.
hallelujah.
He's
One
a
for the
star,
players
man.
at the crib drinking drink.
And two is for
Two
the
is for the
sound. Hootie
sound,
hoo
hootie
that I
hoo that
make.
I make. No, there ain't no songs. There's not even a rap song like that, Mike, before that song gets made that comes out of the South, if you really want to know the truth. We don't have no banger like that running around like on some rap shit that other niggas are singing along to. Nah, we ain't had that record till they made Hootie Hoo.
Somebody said I'm scared to go on Rap Roundtable. For what?
You want to know what,
We
Mike?
no. We are, first of all, before I even go into that, I talked to Jarv. We set the date. We're gonna do not next Monday, but the following Monday. So that's done. But why would I be scared?
You know, it's very
Stand on the
problematic how
truth.
they did you the other day, Mike. I had people pulling up on my inbox, Mike.
I didn't even hear the show, and I'm not saying that to be shady. I
I
didn't
got
get a
people.
chance.
I had people send me full clips. I got full edited clips from multiple people, different camera angles of the shade being thrown.
Oh, they put me on the Summer Jam screen?
They put you on the screen like it was Summer Jam, nigga. Like you're like Mike. They tried to hit you with the They hit you with the hand. You with Mike. It's very bad.
What you mean the hand? I think I gotta go
They hit
watch
you with the
this.
little hand. It looked like you was like doing like the Albie Shore or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? When I asked you about going on Rap Roundtable, and you was like, no. It definitely puts you up on the screen, Mike. We should definitely sue them for copyright infringement. Definitely should sue them. They're just taking our content, Mike. You can't. No.
I guess it was fair use.
You want to know it just about the shade that's being thrown? They really, really, really should pull up here.
Well, I respect the WWE nature of it all, but you know, at the end of the day, man, that's not gonna make Jay-Z a record. It's not.
Well, you know,
what I'm saying? Like,
they claim that your claim is the claim of an invalid, Mike. What say you?
You said my claim as well?
The claim of an invalid, as in, like, you know what I mean? What you saying, like ain't even, like, registering because it's so far from the truth.
I mean, I understand it. I mean, I consider the source, and I love my people from New York or whatever, but I think New York has a very tough time seeing outside of the lenses of the tri-state area. Maybe they do truly feel that way, but I mean, the truth of the matter is 444 is not that business like that. Watch the Throne stop the world, yes. And obviously, Holy Grail didn't do that. Huh?
Said, no, they didn't stop the world. They needed to stop the beat and put on some shit for Hov.
But let's just be real, though, Coop. I mean,
Kanye's beats.
Do you feel like the whole hoopla for Watch the Throne was more about Jay or Kanye?
Told you them Kanye.
I mean, let's just be real here, man. This man was coming off of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Like Kanye's throwing a rapper a beat. I mean, that's Kanye's beats, like Kanye over there. Like, yeah, Jay, come on, make an album with me.
I mean, look, man, the help is there. You got him executive producing the Blueprint 3. And then, boom, he makes My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Jay jumps on 2 records on there. One of them he gets blown out by Nicki Minaj, respectfully. And the other one, I would say, Pusha got him. So, and then after that...
everybody.
Yeah.
Pusha got everybody.
Yeah. So no,
Kanye
I'm just saying. I'm saying that to say it's not like when he came onto My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it was helping Ye. Those songs could have actually went without Jay, respectfully, and that album would still be at the same level. Correct? If Jay's not on Soul Paul or Monster, that doesn't change that album at all.
I feel like maybe you could insert somebody else into Monster, but there is something about that line up to So Appalled that I do like, that I will tell you. It's like,
what if we put your guy Ray in there?
Who do you insert into So Appalled instead of Jay that is that respected, that notarized, that's going to deliver a verse of that quality, because it's not like that's a lackluster Jay-Z verse.
No, it's a good verse.
That's a very goatish verse for him. I'm so appalled. I might buy the mall just to show niggas how much more I have in store.
Yeah, no, he killed it. Even with the...
No. That's high level Jay.
It is. Even though I think the
Screen
best bar he actually took from Two
spent
Face.
another.
You know what I'm
Nothing
saying?
like what do you say? Because I
Dark Knight
lost 30
feeling, die and
mil,
be a
so I spent
hero, and live
another
long enough to
30.
see yourself become a villain.
What do you say? I lost 30 mil, so I spent another 30. Because unlike Hammer, 30 million can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck am I saying? I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, I had to put you on the Summer Jam screen, Mike. They waited for you on Rap Roundtable. Now, don't make it seem like I stood them up. I let them know that I couldn't make it.
Very much look like you stood them up. Mike, streets, you know, Mike, while we on the streets is watching. Blocks keep clocking. Waiting for you to break.
Leroy Green says, your argument is Jay needs Ye. That's a reach. How is that a reach? I'm giving you the evidence.
We not reaching.
Hold on. Leroy, I'm going to ask you this. How is that a reach when we look at the Blueprint, we look at the Black Album, and we look at Kingdom Come? There's no Ye in sight there, right? You know what I'm saying? We look at the Blueprint 3. We look at Watch the Throne. And then we look at Holy Grail and 444. Am I reaching? I wouldn't say this stuff about somebody who I think is one of the greatest MCs ever, has one of the greatest careers ever without any basis, though. Like, come on, man. It's clear, like I said, on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Jay did his thing on that Soul Paul verse. And I think his Monster verse was dialed in, unfortunately, and you know it even highlighted Nicki even more. But
I think
album
Monster's a little overrated, Mike. I think Monster's one of the weaker tracks on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. If you want to know the actual truth,
I'm with you on that. The animation and stuff is like, yeah, it's whatever with me.
I mean, the record's dope. I actually would have preferred if it would have been further back. I think it would have helped the album. You could have moved something else up.
I think the beat is the highlight of that record. You know what I mean? It keeps the energy. I think that kind of kept it from going to the back of the album. He kind of wanted to keep a pace up. But
it could have went after Runaway. In my opinion.
When we talk about the dynamic performances on that album, we're talking about Rick Ross's coming out party. We're talking about Nicki's coming out party. You know what I'm saying? Pusha's coming out party. If
Ray and Cuddy on Gorgeous.
If Jay wasn't on that album is still the best album of the decade. Or you know what I mean? Like, nothing changes. But if Kanye's not involved with the Blueprint 3 or Watch the Throne, the shit looks like Holy Grail. Let's just keep it honest here. Like, where am I reaching at with this? Am I inaccurate?
I don't think you're inaccurate. You just have your points ready for Rap Roundtable, Mike. They are out in the streets throwing you on the Summer Jam screen.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh, you think it's hilarious? I think, Mike, if this is WWE, Mike, you have to come off the top rope like Macho Man Randy Savage is what you need to do.
I'll be ready.
Now don't do an 8-ball before the match like Macho Man Randy Savage. Just come off.
Well, I'm interested to hear what the people have to say about what I just said. Dante Jedi said, Hove rode State Props Philly energy and Ye's wave. See, I didn't even want to go there, but I'm not going to refute that. I think we all know Blueprint 2 and Black Album J is State Property style, right? I mean, at least not style, maybe energy. Let's just say that. I'll say energy to be respectful.
I've been saying...
No. I think we all know it.
Hey.
Because even if you listen to, like, Threats, like...
You don't gotta...
Could you throw Young Chris's voice over Threats using AI and it would sound weird to you?
Why do you say Threat in particular?
I mean, the way he's flowing on there is very Young Chris.
Like castor oil.
Yeah.
The bullets change all that for you.
Now, obviously, Jay has a vast mind and is a great lyricist and one of the greatest lyricists of all time. So, yes, it's going to be more lyrically advanced than what Young Chris is going to give you. But stylistically, it's Young Chris.
But, I mean, see, this is...
Because we heard Jay before State Prop came.
Somebody submitted something to me that, and I don't say this often, that probably knows more than me because, well, They were more at the epicenter of things than I was, and they're a little bit older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got said to me that although those claims about Jay might be valid in terms of what we're saying about state property, and I want to make it clear, I was also stating my claim because I was saying, I'm like, where them singles at without everybody though? That's so classic. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the multiples of dead presidents and like things of that nature? You know what I mean? Or a PS, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A 99. And I'm like, where is it really at? That makes them so, you know. And the person was like, well, here's the thing that you don't understand is that Jay, part of his greatness is the adaptability of it and how he can adapt and adopt other people's shit and make it his shit, actually.
I've said that too. And
hold on.
yeah.
Listen. And the thing that I immediately thought about was when Big did Notorious Thugs.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's part of why we thought he was so versatile and kind of the thing. And what the person that was telling me that was trying to pretty much say was that, well, you know, Jay does that like consistently. It's just like niggas don't like it.
Well, see, this is the difference, and I want to say this, and I do give Jay props on that because he has an incredible memory. I think he probably has one of the greatest memories of any entertainer that we've ever seen. And he's able to hear some shit that you do, regurgitate that, and make it his own. But the difference between that and what Big did on Notorious Thugs, Big created his own syncopated East Coast flow, fast flow that got copied after that. Like that Armed and Dangerous, like, wasn't nobody rapping like that, period, including Bone. He just he was able to adapt to their speed, but stylistically, he came with his own style that we hadn't, or at least I hadn't heard from even a New York MC at that time. And a lot of the New York MCs kind of used that as a blueprint for whenever they were going to do a fast-paced flow. You know what I mean?
No, correct. But this is what I mean, is that, well, Big did that in a time where, you know, that's borderline blasphemous if it doesn't come off right, Mike.
No, you're right.
Like,
he took a chance.
That's like when people talk about taking a chance. No. Notorious Thugs is the biggest example of risk versus reward, is what I don't think people realize. Because if that's not the best verse on that song, which is still arguable to some people, but just the fact that he was able to adopt some of what they did stylistically, incorporate it into who he was stylistically, and to not miss a beat or miss the beat as a New York MC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a hefty guy on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's a big dude, Mike. It's like 10, 10, 10. How do you rate 10, 10, 10,
now
10?
This is what it is. He has the most memorable verse on there, regardless of how you look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Female stars are two.
TJ with the super chat says, I've been going through Jay's catalog, and Reasonable Doubt is classic. Volume 1 and 2 are cool, but the Blueprint took Jay to another level. It did. It took the game to another level. It took the game to another level, and I think for a lot of people who might not have been there, that whole sped up, you know, sample in that era, like that wasn't happening. Like it took us out of this. I don't want to say this disrespectfully.
Take the game to another level.
It did.
That is absurd.
You
cannot take a game to another level when the singles are Izzo, Girls.
No, it's more about the album. It's more about the package. I think that songs like You Don't Know really, really resonated. And from a production standpoint, we were hearing a lot of things that sounded like the Blueprint. It is what it is. I mean, it took us out of the Swiss Beats era. I'm going to just say it like that.
Mark, that's not even... That's RZA shit anyway, Mark.
I understand, but things come back around. You know what I mean?
That?
Again,
You Don't Know literally sounds like a beat that got made around the fucking like Wu-Tang Forever time, Mike. Like literally.
Well, unfortunately, RZA wasn't making beats like that in 2001. So yeah.
Very problematic.
I mean, it's the truth. He can't get a beat from somebody who ain't making them like that anymore. Like,
Mike, I don't even like saying stuff like this, but Mike. You talking about it's groundbreaking, Mike? KRS already made an album called Blueprint.
Well, Mad Max of the Super Chat says, if Hov needs Ye, what's Push done without Ye since the clips? Would you say that Ye carried Push since he left the Clips? He said, you would. I don't have a problem with that either.
Hold on, no, pause for a second.
I don't have a problem with that either.
What are we doing? Mike, pause.
Why is that a problem? Like I said.
Pusha T has technically been Kanye's artist or running his label for him for the entirety of his time. That's totally different. You do understand that technically makes this is my artist.
Yeah.
As in flagship. Like, what are we doing?
It's a little different. Different.
Shit wild that we doing this.
Uncle Fran with the super chat. Oh, I've been looking for Uncle Fran. I know he's got a lot of stuff to say.
You've probably been looking for your ass.
Right. He says, Mike is incredible that you are the only Kanye fan pushing the yay notion here. Excuse me. Even when this whole community is rooting for you. Coop is exited. Oh man, I mean, listen. Am I wrong though? And I'm a fan of both of them. And like I said, I guess carrying must have offended the New Yorkers. Should I use different terminology? Should I say that how should I word this? He's Scottie Pippen to Ye's Jordan in the 2000s? Or is that more offensive? I mean, how should I... Look.
I think you need to talk more like Shaq and Kobe towards the end.
There you go. You're right. Okay, I'm with you. So it started off Shaq and Kobe where Shaq was the dominant one, and then Kobe just became the better player.
About the last 18 months of that relationship, he was the better player.
No, I mean, when they separated. Kobe was... The Lakers made their choice. They made the choice they had to make. Let's just take this in that sense, right?
Situations and circumstances, Mike. I mean, because to be honest with you, if Wade doesn't get hurt in 2005, I think they beat Detroit and win that championship anyway and actually go back to back. Wade hurt his abdominal strain, and they were actually up in the series 3-2. Yeah. And then Detroit won the next two games. Wade got hurt. Detroit was losing that series. So it's like, it's a game of inches and injuries as we're seeing with Ja Morant, De'Aaron Fox, Kawhi Leonard, frail ass.
I mean, everybody's frail in today's game.
No, them knees shaky as fuck.
I can't even keep track of how many people are injured.
Like, he ain't even played for San Antonio in long. He was frailed in. Like, something got to give at some point. Go to Germany, get the Kobe surgery, get some plasma up in there, do something.
Guys got load management, and they still like...
Man, you better load your luggage on a plane, take your ass to Germany, and get some plasma in your knees, a la Kobe. Man, Kobe came back, man. Kobe came back looking brand new.
I hate to say it like this, man, because, I'm a players first kind of guy, man.
I call it the Kobe.
I'm rooting for those guys, right? I hate to say it like this, but I think a lot of those guys just don't want to play like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. There are owners in most organizations that will use you up and psych you up to go out there and play hurt and get yourself hurt even more because they don't really care about you. But I think what we got going on in the NBA right now, there needs to be a balance somewhere. You got guys that it feels like that they wake up and they're like, ain't feeling it today. They just won't play. It's kind of like this writer's block that Swiss Beats was talking about that Kendrick had.
Hold on, no, Mike. We're not done.
We're not going to the writer's block yet?
Well, hold that. No, you might.
Okay. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, may Jack Harlow's next album be his last. Man, you guys are vicious. I can't wait to hear it.
I don't even, Mike, there are probably people not watching right now just because you put Jack Harlow's name up on this line. Like, our following is probably looking at us like y'all put Jack Harlow up? Be like
next episode.
Yeah, you definitely should have put, like, Mike B and Coop argue about, like, Ice Cube or, like, Ray and Ghost or something.
Well, I didn't want it to be an old nigga show, you know what I'm saying? But we going to get into all of those
Mike, I mean, I'm just saying the people who follow Jack Harlow, Mike, they're definitely
They're
not watching
definitely.
according to hip hop.
Yeah,
That's
they
real.
probably blame me for the last album.
No, it's definitely your fault.
Peter Parks of the Super Chat says, based on that Jack Harlow cover, I guess he's trying to go for the streets. No, it's Rolling Stone's fault. They wrote that bogus ass article that I had to read right here in front of the people where they was talking all this. Man, that article was crazy. Crazy. But you know what I will say about Jack and what he said in that article? He wanted to be the best. And I don't hear MCs talking like that anymore. And I will give him that. He said he's going to be the best rapper of this decade. And people need, and it goes back to what we're talking about with this basketball stuff. Like, these guys don't really want to be the best like that. Niggas have like a, you know what I'm saying, a headache and they ain't even playing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's because these boys are soft like bread. You boys are soft like bread.
You know, and I know they don't want to hear these old stories, but man, I seen a nigga go out there with the flu or food poisoning or some shit and score like 40 something in the finals, man. Nigga was dying out there, man. Like, come on.
I mean, no joke about winning. Like KD, like came back probably a month sooner than he was supposed to, and ruptured his Achilles, and cost himself a piece of his prime. About, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're
competing.
Right. I think that was peer pressure, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys.
I think he's just addicted to hooping like that, Mike. And the chip was on the line, and he knew they wasn't about to win without him.
Again,
they wasn't.
That's another Steph indictment for me. You know what I mean? It's like a nigga like Steph who's supposed to be that guy like that. You're supposed to be top 15 all the time. You're supposed to tell this man, you know what? Sit down. I got you. You know what I'm saying? It's an indictment.
Mike, I'm going to say this again. Like, guys like Kevin Durant and like LeBron James, like, they don't just like come around like, no. Like, we're seeing it now. Like, you're seeing it with, not to be funny, think about this. When LeBron and KD were Giannis's age, did you hear about them going out with back injuries in the playoffs?
Shout out to my nigga Jimmy Butler, though, man. Like, that was an incredible.
What about Embiid, Mike? This is the first time Embiid been healthy in the playoffs, and I'll be damned if he didn't get hurt again anyway. Like, no.
I don't wish injury on anybody, but I don't expect those guys to go healthy throughout. You know what I'm saying?
And what the hell is going on with Golden State catching an injured player every year?
Yeah, you know.
Mike, they catch more bodies than Mike. They catch more bodies than gang members, Mike. Like,
you're talking to
wild out here.
You're talking to a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I saw that whole game.
Streets,
I saw that whole game. Fox didn't look like he had any injury. Looked like he could have taken that final shot. He was double teamed. He had that final.
No, the turnovers, Mike. The turnovers is where you can tell his hand ain't right. Okay. And it's not a question if he can play with it. He's probably going to play with it. It's how he's going to adjust. And I'm going to tell you how he's going to have to go to adjust. Oh, he's just going to have to go straight to the rack.
Shout out to Jimmy Butler. That was the best performance I'd seen in an NBA game in a very, very, very long time. Jimmy's a real dude. Jimmy came out there to play. Now, that guy wants to play. You know what I'm saying? He wants to play. And if certain people that had incredible, legendary skill sets had this man's heart and mentality, we would see some great stuff.
I'll tell you what. I think both of the KD performances against Milwaukee in their championship season are comparable. The game that he won and the game that he lost, because people forget he went for like 47, like damn near triple-double one game, then went for the 49 piece, and the other one in the loss. One more point would have got him that victory, you know, the whole toe on the line game. Mm-hmm. There are those two games that come to mind as far as playoff recent memory. There's the Giannis 50-point game in Game 6 against Phoenix that comes to mind.
But
that's a closeout game. It's a closeout game, Mike.
Yeah, it is. But that's Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like, this dude was out here doing this to the number 1 seed at the number 8 spot. I don't give a damn about the number 1 seed. They're a great defensive team. And that's what I was going to say. The number 1 defensive team player for player. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is different. Yeah. Mad Max to the Super Chat says, Jazzo, Big L, and Hov had a fast flow before Biggie. It's not just about fast flow. It's about the flow that he created. That Armed and Dangerous, that where did you hear somebody use that flow before
Ain't too
Big?
many gonna bang with us.
And we heard many people use it after. It is what it is.
Notorious. Yeah, nobody wasn't flowing like that.
Come on, Mad Max. You got to give Biggie his props.
Mad Max wasn't even born yet when he came up with that flow, Mike. You got to explain this shit to him.
Mad Max says that Hove is the first lifestyle rapper. Respect him. What does that even mean?
Cool G Rap and Ice-T are like the first lifestyle rappers.
What does that mean? I would say, yeah. I mean, if it means what I think it means, definitely go Ice-T.
The inside voice.
I would definitely go Ice-T. I could even go Rakim. I don't know. I could even go Run DMC. What are we talking? What does that even mean? Like,
I mean, what lifestyle he talking about?
Are we talking about wardrobe?
Or we Rap?
I don't know. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Hove never grew out of that lifestyle rap while his contemporaries of the period have evolved and grown past hustler music culture. Problematic. So lifestyle rap is hustler music. Can't say he created that.
Isn't hip hop just hustler music though? Isn't this about the hustle? Like about the hustler's ambition, and it's kind of like part of the culture.
Yeah.
Not the illegal transaction out of it, but like the true hustler's ambition of it.
Right.
It's like Jay said, and you don't know, could make 40 off a brick, but one rhyme could beat that.
Somebody would have told him that Hove would sell clothing. That's his best song. That song's incredible.
You want to know what, Mark?
That's incredible.
You know, we talk about Conversational Jay. It might be his most conversational record, and so it might be his best song because he's never more conversational than he is on that record, actually, if you actually listen to him talk.
I think it's the strongest beat that he's ever rhymed on, too. Like, as far as, like, demanding that power. Like, that whole powerful music movement comes from that, I believe.
I'm from the streets where the...
Because it builds, you know what I'm saying? Like...
And so much, you could run the slalom.
I know you disagree with me, man.
But this shit top to bottom.
They say that we are prone to
violence. But it's home sweet home. Where personalities clash and chrome meets chrome.
Coke prices up and down like it's Wall Street homes.
But this is worse than the Dow Jones. Your brains are now blown.
I love that. Brown will slip you are now gone. Welcome to hell where you are welcome to sell.
But when the shells come,
you better return them. This is Conversational, Jay, man.
All scars we earn them. All cars we learn them.
Like the back of our hand. Watch nigga coming out the back of van with a jig on my chest. I don't need Dapper Dan. Come on, man.
This ain't a sewn outfit, Holmes.
Holmes is about it. Was clapping them flamers before I became famous for playing me. Y'all shall forever remain nameless. And then he comes back in there, man. I tell you the difference between me and them. Trying to get the ones I'm trying to get the M's.
Like that's what I mean. That song is one of the supreme examples about, your approach matters. Like it doesn't have to be all super lyrical. Like he literally has about 50 songs more lyrical than that.
No, it don't matter.
Might be his best rock record.
Because to me, his best attribute is his knowledge, man. And his ability to convey that. That's why his conversational mode is so powerful. Because he's giving you game. And he's talking to you on a different level. That's what imaginary play is. He's telling you something that you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking about, Mike. When that motherfucker said, if there ain't no manicures on board, then switch your plane.
Yeah.
I was like, pause, Mike. I'm still in the projects. I'm like, hold on. Manicures on planes? I was like,
yeah.
Mental note, you can get a manicure on a plane. I was like, I don't know what this nigga doing. He going to the feds.
I mean, that's why his conversational mode is so powerful because he's telling you things you don't know and the songs you don't know. I know you disagree with me, but I think that's a top 50 hip hop song all time. I do.
I don't think so. But here's what I will tell you. The stuff that he said on Reasonable Doubt in Volume 1, like I was 15 and 16 when those albums came out. No, Mike, I didn't understand some of that talk till I got like my hands on some real money.
Straight up.
Like not a little bit of money.
Jay was
real
definitely.
Money. I was like, oh, this what this nigga talking about. Like, oh shit. Like,
I think that's the brilliance of Reasonable Doubt. Like Reasonable Doubt was definitely over my head at the time when it came out, and shit, even years after. I mean, I didn't really understand Reasonable Doubt until years later, and
No,
that
Mike.
wasn't because that was because of my lack of maturity. You know what I'm
No, this is what
saying?
I'm saying, Mike. When he's on Can I Live and he's talking about meet me at the crap tables at the one that starts a G up.
Yeah.
This way no fraud, Willie's pressing, gambling, they re-up. Like Mike, I lived off the 15 when I used to go to Vegas. I didn't understand what he was talking about until you start seeing the games at the tables and see how Mike, the people that play at the tables when the tables go to a G up start looking a little different. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
mean,
he's
you
talking
have
about.
to.
I didn't understand that till I was in my early 20s, and I'm in Vegas, and I'm coming to the tables to play, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's the main room where it's like $25,000 to buy in, and they got it glassed off and got security. You know what I'm saying? And then you start at the other tables, and then you start seeing like the layout, and it's like, oh shit, no, it's different on this side where the money is.
You have to do a lot of living to really understand Reasonable Doubt and some of the things that are being conveyed in there. You know what I mean? And I think when he
So
said
imagine
he
he came
dumbed,
in like that, Mike.
he came in like that, and that's what I was gonna say. Like when he said he dumbed down his style to double his dollars. I think what he's really talking about is the fact that a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about on here, people might not be up on. So let me figure out a way to kind of say some things that are relatable to people and still be able to give them game. And he did that. And again, You Don't Know is a perfect example of that. That's an advanced J giving you the same level of not notoriety, but the same level of knowledge on Reasonable Doubt, but he's putting it in simpler terms, simpler words, and where it's just hitting you straight in the face, as opposed to possibly going over your head because of complicated flows, slang, and language. You know what I mean?
No, Mike, politics as usual. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
no stopping the champagne from popping, the draws from dropping, the law from watching.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on. I was like, this dude's saying this a little too easy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, talking a little too easy. He talking greasy a little too easy. I'm like, oh no, this guy different.
I always talk about those first couple lines on Dead Presidents where he's like, who want to bet us that we don't touch leathers, that cheddars forever, live treacherous, all read et cetera. It's like he wasn't using those words after that.
Shine.
Yeah, you
Y'all
feel the ambiance.
Y'all niggas just rhyme.
Yeah, he wasn't using words like ambiance on volume 3. Like, you know what I mean? That's what he's talking about when he dumbed down his, flow. He wasn't saying that, I'm going to just be stupid with it. You know what I mean?
He's talking about the records that we actually revere, Mike. He's talking about Dead Presidents and The Evils and Imaginary Player and Streets is Watching. Like, because that shit, like, as brilliant as it is, it's like, hold on. He's like, that ain't working the way it really needs to work.
And it went over a lot of people's heads. It went over my head.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because I was young. You know what I mean? But
I told you, Mike, I only met one guy like him before, and that's why I was like, Like, I know one guy talking like that. That guy doing Fed time. I was like, and that's where this guy going.
Andrew Williams with the Super Chat says, if Nas took 99 Problems' entire idea from Ice-T, they would hold that against him his entire career. Shaking my head.
I don't know how. I'm not going to say that that's fair or foul. I'm going to say there is something to that.
Well, Nas took If I Ruled the World. Nobody holds that over his head.
That's fair, Mike. No, very valid.
Let's not act like If I Ruled the World ain't Curtis Blow. I mean,
No, you're right. Yeah. I like that you said that.
Leroy Green with the Super Chat says, Mike, your argument assumes that Jay loses something by not having hits or yay beats. If Jay drops a 5% concept album with no hits, he still loses nothing. I understand what you're saying, Leroy Green. I think that, all right, this is where I'm going to go with it. I think that Jay really empowers himself and his GOAT status by the hits that he makes. But for a lot of us hip-hop fans, and the reason why I had him at number 1 was more so because of the non-hit stuff, because I think that's his best stuff. Now, if he goes out here and makes that concept album you're talking about, and it's not about making hits, well, I expect the quality of those non-hit songs to be like the quality of his threats or stuff like that. We can't say that about 444. It's just not the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to sit here and act like we gave him that on American Gangster. American Gangster is a record of his that doesn't have a lot of hits, but it's a cult classic for a lot of people because it's quality material. Now, if these last two albums didn't have hits on them and they were the quality of American Gangster, I wouldn't even be saying any of this stuff. You got nothing to say, Coop? Uh-oh, another J fan. I got Anime Bros podcast here.
I don't I don't want to give this too much run, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we know how we run it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Man, it's like, listen. It is what it is. People should have listened to us enough by now to know that, you know, it's pretty objective over here. And we're not saying anything that we don't feel like is valid. We're not trying to stir a certain pot or keep things going. I'm like, sometimes I feel like you be keeping things going with the Eminem stuff. But outside of that, I think we're pretty clean. No, it's very problematic how you be behaving about that. People want us to keep talking about Pras. Mike, did you want to touch on the Pras thing?
The Pras?
You know.
As in Proswell? What is there to say?
You know.
Let me get through these super chats. We'll touch on that because I do want to talk about this.
Mike, I done told everybody about the Wyclef record Staying Alive, where Pras and John Forte up here pushing weight on record.
Oh, my God. Anime Bros podcast.
On that record. I said that when I was a kid. I was like, these niggas must want to go to jail too. I'm listening.
Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says, producers assist. They do not carry. It's not above. It's not about New Yorkers. You're just being disrespectful. Simple. How can you claim yourself as a fan? I don't know. Well, Kanye's a different producer. We know this, right? He's the kind of producer that not only makes the beat and possibly shapes your subject matter, gives you a hook, he actually rhymes too. I mean, his input on Lucifer is documented in a DVD all of us fans watched. So let's not sit here and act like Kanye and Premier per se, and this is just for example purposes, are the same when they're giving you a record. Because if that were the case, Watch the Throne would have just been Jay-Z rhyming and Kanye producing the whole album, right? But he's a different type of entity. You had to actually share the mic with this producer.
I told you, man, Jane never been set up like you guys set up on Watch the Throne, okay? He was like, no, come on over here. Let's do something together. Mm-mm.
He set him up on Monster, too. You don't think he let Nicki hear all that shit?
It's very problematic. They got a strange relationship, Mike.
It ain't strange. You listen to Big Brother, it's kind of a diss record.
It's a lot of hate going on.
It's like, listen, man, this is the thing, bro. Like, Kanye saw, and you guys saw it from the Netflix documentary. This man has never supported his career for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there was pushback the whole time. And y'all listen to Kanye enough, heard enough of his music, seen a lot of his interviews, antics. Do you think a person like that is not thinking like, wait till I get to a position where this person needs me and I'm going to show the fuck out? And that's what he's done. Simple and plain. It's not...
Very blackish.
That's what he's done. Zuri with the super chat says, of all the kid/teen rappers, who did you guys like? Shaheem, Jamal, Malik, Criss Cross, A+, etc. Yo, A+ was nice. I was more of a Shaheem guy, but again, I'm a Wu-Tang fan.
I was actually about to say, I think Jamal from Illegal made the best album, though.
You're probably right. The style is all in me.
Like my cousin Vici, the one who put me on to Slick Rick, he used to work for a Warehouse Music in Virginia. He was a manager, and he used to send me CDs. The Jamal from Illegal CD was one of the CDs he sent me. He sent me that, and he sent me the Far Side's Lab Cat in California.
I think they put Shaheem out maybe a little premature. He came out the same day as Illmatic with his debut album. That wasn't great for him. But that second album, that's where he was, you know what I mean? Like, that should have been his first album. Shall and style is all in me. Danette with the super chat says, Jay been a lifestyle rapper. Jay being a lifestyle rapper is his biggest issue, and the reason that he didn't show growth to 444. His old shit don't hit the same no more. It's not timeless. Wow, I disagree with that. I mean, I think that the one thing that helped Jay's longevity is the fact that he could always let you know what's going on with him at the current moment. And I know I say whatever about Andre, but Andre said this one time, 3000. They were talking to him about making music and rapping and this and that. He was like, man, my life is kind of boring, man. Y'all don't want to hear me rap about taking my son to soccer practice. And there's some truth to that. And I think that that's kind of what we got with 444. And for a lot of us, outside of production and stuff, the vibrato wasn't there. Some things fell flat, but that's where his life is right now. You know what I'm saying? And we're used to his life being at such dynamic places and the music matching that.
Well, that's kind of the thing about being a lifestyle rapper and not a rapper's rapper, Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, your lifestyle got to look a certain way the whole time in order for the buy-in to be there, as opposed to being just a rapper's rapper.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like the possibility and the contents and expansion of it are seamless and endless. And I wasn't joking when I said this. I say a lot of truth in jest, Mike. And some of the truth in jest that I've said is that, like, nah, it used to be that Nas needed to hang out with Jay. Things have changed. Jay need to call Nas, be like, hey, so B's gonna watch the kids for a few days. She's home on tour. They ain't doing shit, Playboy. Like, what's the word? Like, we gonna go get it in right quick. I'm not joking when I say that.
No, you're right.
Like on some studio shit and on some kicking it shit, you actually need to like hit Eska, be like, yo, what we doing?
I mean, outside of the family dynamic, and I've seen this happen to my favorite artist in Michael Jackson. I think he's gotten so big and isolated that he can't really even kick it in like these fresh, you know what I'm saying, like really get fresh sounds, fresh energy, places where certain artists or himself as well could just pull up inconspicuously and kind of peep the scene and see what's going on.
Mike,
like it's hard to do that when you're this big.
I don't know, Mike. I don't want to hear that because, first of all, sometimes you can bring the party to you. Prince was notorious for inviting younger artists like a young Alicia Keys, Erykah Badu, Macy Gray, amongst others, to Paisley Park specifically. So if you want to control the narrative and control the situation, now you got Paisley Park type of money, square footage, acreage, and space. Bring some of the party to you like Prince used to do. Since you fashion yourself that big and since people view you that big. You get what I'm saying? So he doesn't get to make that excuse on that side. And on the other side of it, Mike, well, let's just be real about the shit. No, you not at like no Prince type of stature. Your ass can fly to California and get in the studio with Hit Boy just like Nas and stand around. Ain't nobody about to do nothing. It's Jay, Mike. If anything, people would be happy that he showed up. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. It's Jay, Mike. Ain't nobody out here trying to touch Jay, Mike. Not like that. Like,
well, I ain't saying like that.
Mike, Mike, he is welcome in any studio in motherfucking America. Stop.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Same thing with Michael Jackson.
Mike,
nobody was trying.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. And same thing with Michael Jackson. Nobody was ever trying to touch Michael Jackson either. I'm just saying, like, to be able to get an organic experience, though. You know what I mean? Like,
he can pull up whenever he wants and get an organic experience, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think if he shows up anywhere, people change up? Like, it's that whole thing, like, act natural. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are gonna act natural with Jay-Z in the setting. Now, I think what Prince had, in that situation, Coop, is the fact that he's a musician and he would invite musicians out there and they would gig. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Jay's supposed to be out here ciphering with guys. Like what is he gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
What does he do again? Is he MC, right? You talking about is he supposed to be ciphering with dudes? If he MCs, yes. That's part of what the studio process is. You in the studio with other people, y'all are rhyming, coming up with stuff. Yo, how this sound? The hook, or I'm gonna do it like this, or I'm ready to go. Tell me what this sound like when I come out. Yeah, that's exactly what he's supposed to be
you know
doing.
what,
What are you
Coop?
talking about?
Well, you know what, Coop? To correlate that to Michael Jordan, and he calls himself the Michael Jordan of rap, so I'm gonna bring Michael in it. Michael would go out there and play 1-on-1 with guys that you know what I'm saying, that were recruits.
Mike then showed up at everybody's gym on some ball shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah. No. There's stories about him pulling up in the offseason. Chicago, LA, New York. Oh, he pulling up every season in Chapel Hill, Mike.
Yeah, Michael wasn't sitting there like, yo.
You gonna say Jerry Stackhouse good? Come on, let's see how good you are. Let's go.
Michael wasn't sitting there like, yo, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm already better than him. I ain't got to go out there on the court and prove anything.
Oh, that's the next me?
Let's go. See him. Let's see. Right.
Who? Vince Carter? Who? Let me see. Come on. Who?
Yeah.
What? Where are they?
You right.
Out there looking, Mike. He was out there looking for niggas. Like,
you right.
Like you said, who is what?
This person's the next me. Let's go.
Let me see him.
Yeah. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, may Jack Harlow's next Rolling Stone cover be his last. Yo, the fans are going hard. I love it. Y'all love the culture. Y'all love music, man. You know, Jack Harlow, prove us wrong with a great album Friday. Okay. Anime Bros with podcast with the super chat says 36 Chambers just lied. 444/Watch the Throne. Stop. 36 Chambers. Oh, he's talking about 36 Chambers. What did 36 Chambers say? Well, let's see. Get to these other super chats. This is a great conversation, though. 36 Chambers with the $20 super chat. He must be trying to get in front of the lie or something. He says, no lies here. When I said hustler talk, I'm saying that he's a billionaire giving billionaire bars now. The only thing that he did different since 2007 was when he tried to atone to Beyonce for his behavior.
It's none of our business.
Yeah, that's a bit much. 36 Chambers also says, to clarify, it feels like Jay has lost some of what made him stand out in his prime. Is that fair to say now? Thank you, 36. That's all I've been saying, really. I mean, and all these fans. Part of
the lifestyle rap stuff, Mike.
I mean, all of the fans seem to take what I'm saying in a wrong way. We criticize and critique all of our favorites. You and I just went on this whole thing with Ray and Ghost. I love Ray. I think Ray's one of the greatest, but I've also said that I feel like, you know, Ray is one of more of the group guys, and I would like to see Ray at that level on some solo stuff. I'm not taking anything away from Ray, but as soon as you say something that is not favorable to Jay, it's like all the people come out the woodworks coming up with all kind of scenarios. Like, come on. And they put me on the Summer Jam screen on top of that. Mitch with the super chat says, been listening to Blues song Mars remix, and it's very underrated. He samples Nas's voice on the first line of the third verse from One Love, and it's fire. I gotta check that out. I love Blue. I think he's one of the more underrated MCs of his era. The CL Smooth of his era, in my opinion.
I don't know about all that. Mike, speaking of underrated MCs, Armin is gonna pull up with us tomorrow at 7:00. Well, not tomorrow. I'm sorry, Friday.
Yep.
Friday at 7:00 because his album drops.
Yes.
His album is called Mean. For anybody that hasn't seen my interview with Armin, y'all really need to check it out. It was a personal favorite of mine. He hit me up today. He's going to be coming to Atlanta soon, so we're going to try to put some things together for Armin. Shout out to him and his camp.
Shout out to Armin.
But his album drops Friday. Got features with a little bit of everybody, Mike. Pull up the interview on our page.
The whole album's produced by Scott Storch as well, right?
Scott Storch is executive producing the whole album, but he's got like an hour gap from 4 to 5 his time. That'll be 7 to 8 our time. We're not going to take up the full time. We might take up about half of that, chop it up with him right quick live for the people.
That'd be great.
He's confirmed he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be dope.
You want to get to this Pras thing, Mike? Because I think we do need to read it out because the verdict did just come down like an hour and a half.
Oh, there's a verdict. Go ahead. You got it pulled up?
I sure do, Mike. That's why I was talking about, Mike, talking about staying alive. You better stop playing with me. Stop talking like this on record. Ex-Fugees rapper Pras Michel found guilty in scheme to help China influence U.S. government. The Pras was found guilty in federal court in Washington on Wednesday of 10 criminal counts related to an international conspiracy reaching the highest levels of the U.S. government. The Grammy-winning artist and former member of the Fugees faced multiple counts over the failed conspiracy to help Malaysian businessman Joe Low and the Chinese government gain access to U.S. officials, including former presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Pras was found guilty of conspiracy to defraud the U.S., witness tampering, and acting as an unregistered agent of a foreign government. He faces up to 20 years in prison. No sentencing date was set. Pras sat stoically as each count came down on Wednesday and did not comment to reporters outside. His attorney, David Kenner, paused. That was Suge's attorney back in the day. That's the old death row attorney. That's David Kenner. That's from death row days. I remember that. Expressed disappointment about the verdicts, but said he was confident that his mistrial motions will work out in their favor. We're extremely disappointed in that result, but are very, very confident in the ultimate outcome of this case, Kenner told reporters, adding, if we do move to a sentencing hearing, I remain very confident we will certainly appeal this case. This is not over. Pras testified last week that Lowe paid him $20 million in 2012 in order to get a picture of himself with Obama, and prosecutors allege Pras funneled over $800,000 of that money to Obama's campaign through a number of straw donors. In his defense, Pras testified he never used the money at Lowe's direction, but instead saw it as his money which he could spend however he wanted. I could have bought 12 elephants with it, he told the jury. Not a smart thing to say to the jury. When Trump came to power in 2017 and investigations started to ramp up into Lowe and his alleged role in billions of dollars being embezzled from one MBD, the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, Lowe went to Pras again, prosecutors allege. According to the prosecutors, Lowe directed over $100 million to Pras to help push the government, including Trump, to drop its investigation into Lowe. Prosecutors also say Pras advocated for the extradition of a Chinese dissident, Gu Wengu, on behalf of the Chinese government. Pras, however, testified he only tried to help Lowe find an attorney in the U.S. and only told authorities about Guao because he thought he was a criminal. The former Fugees member also said the $100 million was for a media business he was starting, and the investment wasn't from Lowe. This nigga going to prison. Lowe was charged along with Pras, who is believed to be in China. Guao has since been arrested and charged by the Justice Department with defrauding investors in an unrelated case. This nigga going to prison,
man. That's a lot. Listen, it's a whole lot to unpack there.
No, and you know when he got on the hook for all this? When him and John Forte was talking that shit on Staying Alive. Talking about staying alive. Want me to pull up the bar work?
Does it go? Yeah, pull up the bar work, because I'm not really familiar. Mitch with the super chat says Shaheem got some classic joints. Shallon Style, Dear God, Furious Anger, On and On. One's for the money. Yo, Shallon Style was my shit, man. Zuri with the super chat says, speaking of teen rappers, super unpopular opinion, Lil Malik had a better verse between him and Snoop on Perp Perp from the Doggy Style album. Pump Pump, tripping. Perp Perp. Yeah, he did go crazy on Pump Pump. Dante with the super chat says, how y'all like a lot of Dark Man's first joint? A lot of Dark Man's dope.
Ooh,
let's get into it. You got some more news?
Yeah, a lot of Dark Man was pretty dope. The first one, yeah.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, the difference with Jay's lifestyle rap is we know that he's not lying. That's the main difference since Reasonable Doubt. Yeah, Jay's honest. Okay, to this prize thing. I thought you were about to pull up the bars. That's why I
No. First of all, we're going to go to John Forte's bars first, Mike.
Okay.
I'm more than just a rhymer. You just a small timer. Hoping that the game treat that ass a little kinder. Every step tangoed. Your beef don't concern me. I'm eating mangoes in Trinidad with attorneys. My crew slang flow worldwide like a current. With the every spot where nobody got insurance. Brother, Do the math. You ain't half near exotic. My man's claim true. You forget about it. Popo just a nuisance, Mike. Mike, Popo just a nuisance. Like my influence will recognize you a lie trying to do it. As in, I'm the truth. I'm living this life that you talking about. Oops, we nuts, baby. Smooth and charismatic, automatic. You gonna save me? God bless the dead has my son survived. We strive to teach the youth, baby, and stay alive. Hold on. Listen to where Pras comes in.
You can tell by the way I move.
The way I roll that I'm a ladies' man, a businessman. Pause. Hold on. Condos down the shore, multi-million pension plan, but it ain't my plan to make moves without the fan. I keep it in tech. Yo, Clef, do the track. John, play the Mac while I pay the tax. Business as usual, watching my suspects steal my assets. Get cut with Gillettes, we built this concept. Connect like NY Next, drinks at my bar, my American Express.
And you pull up.
Hook up. The copper pull up.
Yo, who's calling bluff? This is what I've always said about Pras, and I know people always talk about Pras' position in the Fugees. I think that the setup for the Fugees was perfect. You had the front person with Lauren, you had the musician / producer or whatever with Clef, and you had the businessman with Pras. And I think that the way that group was comprised is brilliant to me, especially from a hip-hop standpoint, and you never hear that the Fugees' contracts was all messed up because, you know, they actually had a businessman in the group. Now, as far as this goes...
Lawyers in Trinidad, what is wrong with you?
It feels like Proswell got used in this situation. He allowed himself to be used because I guess whoever he was dealing with, he felt like it was bulletproof. But
that's what happens when you work for an international crime syndicate and you get caught pushing weight across borders and you talk about the shit on record like it's cool.
I heard they had who was it? Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand on him.
Very problematic.
Yeah. You said, I mean, those allegations are, I guess they're no longer allegations, but being found guilty of, you know, smuggling money for someone taking a picture with the president. It's like, no, man, that's stuff you don't really want to get into. That's hot water right there.
Oh, Mike, how many years has he been an informant now is what I'm saying. Staying alive was 97, Mike.
How long you think?
The feds was already on them then. You remember when John Forte got arrested remember when he got arrested in the airport, you know, with the keys of cocaine?
So you think this goes all the way back to that? That was like 20-something years ago.
Mike, do you not know how our federal government works with informants and how they really stay alive? Not trying to be funny.
No, I mean...
Government stays alive by giving people like this the opportunity to roam free and round up more people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no. It's like, no. You like to move work across our borders? I got some work for you. You work for us now, bitch.
Did they charge or catch the Malaysian individual, the gentleman from Malaysia?
Hold on.
Because last thing I heard, he was in the wind.
They said he was arrested for something else unrelated.
Oh, gotcha.
Mike, they say Rig Raw is blocking people in the chat. What's going on, people?
Who is?
Said Rigor Raw.
Don't do that, Rigor Raw. Unless it's like really spam. Blue Collar Hustler with the super chat says, at this point, it's unrealistic to expect two grown men like Nas and Jay to be kicking it like that. Jay is going to have to get out of the mud. No hand holding. Think he can do it, man.
These dudes got different lives, like, so yeah, they can go kick it. Like, their lives are like different. It's like their idea of kicking it might be different.
Yeah.
But the yo always the yo, Mike. It's like no.
Now, I mean, that would be a great photo op to see Jay and Nas kicking it, right? You know what I'm saying? In 2023. Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says 2 days ago, All Hip Hop reported that Jay and Nas have an album together that they done during the lockdown is believable. Is that believable? I meant written testimony, 36 Chambers. Is that believable? I mean, anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are professional recording artists. So, yeah, if they just linked up on some top secret stuff and made some songs together, that's very possible. Now, do I think that actually happened? Nah. But it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that artists have done a great job of making us feel like, certain albums and certain connections are just unfathomable. In the grand scheme of things, Big Boy and Andre in the same city, those guys could go to a studio and crank out 10 songs together in a 2-week period. That's feasible to do.
I think any artist worth their salt.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But the fact that we haven't gotten those things, people feel like, man, that could never happen. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
I mean, Mike, people need to look at this the way they kind of look at their lives. It's like, no, you tend to make time for the things that are really important to you, that you really care about. And, the relationship of where you spend your time is a relationship of, like, the importance of things, I'm
going to give another example. Snoop Dogg always makes music. And we always see photo ops of Dr. Dre in the studio. Now, what's stopping Dre and Snoop, who have a long-lasting friendship and who are cool, who've recorded together, who have a history, and they're both legends? What's stopping both of them from getting together over a 2-3 week period and knocking out 3 or 4 songs? Who's to say it hasn't already been done?
I'm pretty sure those things have happened.
That's what I'm saying.
But specifically for them, and now that I'm a little bit older, I understand this. This is like, well, when the Chronic and Doggy Style are your standards, that's just a different type of. In 2001, those type of collaborative. No, it's different, Mike. Those are 3 top 50 albums, and 2 of them are top 10 albums. So,
I think 2001 is a gutsy album, and I think it doesn't get enough credit for that. I think that was a do-or-die moment that didn't feel like a do-or-die moment in retrospect, but it definitely was. Dr. Dre needed a hit. He needed an impactful album in 1999.
In hindsight, it felt that way at the time, but then let's say 2001 doesn't get made, but he still executive produces Get Rich or Die Trying in the documentary. Do you still feel that way?
I don't think those things happen without 2001. That's the thing. I think 2001 was that breaking point that allowed those things to happen.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we didn't look at it like that in the moment. We're looking at it like, okay, well, yeah, Snoop and Dre back together. But that whole Aftermath play was predicated on that album. You know what I'm saying? And predicated on even the resurgence of what Nate Dogg was doing feature-wise in the game, period, was off of the momentum of that album. That album was very, very important, and they delivered. Because think about it. It's kind of like when Tom Brady, that interception that was made against the Seahawks. Let's just say the Seahawks run that shit in like they're supposed to. That's 3 Super Bowl losses in a row. Mm-hmm. It looks different. It changes things.
You go from being 3-0 to being 3-3. You go from being at 1,000 to batting 500. Yeah.
It changes things. And so if 2001 is a dud too, then you got that Aftermath album, and then that changes things. It's a very important album. He delivered too. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, Reasonable Doubt is simply the drug dealer's Illmatic. Watch the Throne is is the bougie distant relatives. 444 is a poor man's life is good. Nas been writing Jay's blueprint for 30 years. The fans are on it. LP with the super chat says, "You right, Coop. Even Biggs said 444 sounded different before they helped build with him. Said that he was worried about it in the beginning. I never heard Biggs say that, but I mean, Biggs is pretty honest about his takes. LP with the super chat says, the head of Rock Nation is an informant. Y'all are wild. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Let's see. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says the new Domo Genesis Alchemist album. It's fire. I gotta check that out, man. Alchemist comes out with so much stuff.
It's ridiculous.
It is, man. Like we're just not used to somebody coming out with this much volume and quality.
Speaking of which, Benny announced that his album is executive produced specifically by Alchemist and Hit Boy. It's coming out, when is it? August 11th?
Yep.
What is it called? It's called Can't Take Everyone.
You and I talked about this offline. I don't like the far out date. You said you do.
Because I realized something that last year, because, Thought did this last year.
He did.
About this time. And we didn't really care for it then, but then I realized something, this is one of the things that I've learned from the streaming aspect of it. Is it's like, no, you got to actually, if you're an artist that makes the vein of hip hop that he makes, you got to give it time to burn and throw feelers out and see what heats and to see what doesn't. That's why we got Lemon so early from Conway, too. It's just he hit the mark with Lemon. It was like, nope, that's perfect. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? But even if you look at that, the aspirations and the ambition are different. So you got to kind of look at it like a businessman would look at it in terms of, well, for an artist like Benny, it doesn't behoove him in terms of what he's trying to do numbers-wise to not do some serious lead up or build up into it. He needs to try to garner as many new people as possible.
And I guess I'm looking at it from an impatient fan standpoint. And
it's
I'm
called
also
Everybody Can't Go. I want to get the title right. Everybody Can't Go is the name of the album.
Okay. And I'm also looking at it from a standpoint that it's not all the way done or it's not all the way together. If the reason for the date is to make sure that this thing gets promoted properly, I'm with that 100%. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that the rollout is right. I'm totally with that. And it sounds like, based on those things, he must really be pleased with the product that they've produced. All the stuff that I've heard, I think Hit Boy kind of leaked 2 sessions or whatever. Shit was fire from everything that I heard. So sounds like that he's going to make an album that's going to be worthy of a rollout this long and drawn out, which is a great sign.
Well, I'll tell you this. He literally has the 2 best album makers as far as producers of this generation executive producing his album in Hit Boy and Alchemist, and I'm going to tell you what I love about it.
And he has a rapport with both.
Previous rapport with both already, like super familiar rapport with both, as in has done full-length projects exclusively with both. So the Alchemist record with Hit, beat-wise, imagine some of those fusions with somebody the caliber of Benny rapping on them.
Yeah.
And Mike, what I'll tell you, and I'm literally going to go ahead and put this out right now, this album should be album of the year unless literally Jay or Nas are dropping an album. And I'm going to tell you why. If you look at Alchemist's track record, even within the Griselda camp, in terms of the records he's given them, if you look at Hit Boy's recent resume with Nas and with Benny and with pretty much everybody else he's been giving stuff to.
Music Soul Child. Yeah.
Right. No. I expect this album to sound like a fully cohesive, great album, which means I'm going to tell you what. And I like you called the album Everybody Can't Go, because this is one of those albums I feel like, well, the guest appearances and the selection of the guest appearances and how those records sounds, well, it officially matters. Like, this project needs to come together. And I'm going to tell you what, the hook's going to super matter on this album.
Yeah.
Not worried about the lyrics, not worried about the beats, not worried about the executive production, not worried about the sequencing. You got the 2 best producers at putting together albums. Think about A Price of Tea in China. You know what I'm saying? Think about KD3. Like, think
Alfredo.
about
Yeah.
Think about, don't get me started on Alfredo. Oh my God. So I expect it to be album of the year, and they have time to make sure that it's album of the year.
I'm excited.
Album of the year contender.
Because we need some music, man. Like,
need a classic. Damn that I need some music. I like greatness. Like when people was like, oh, I didn't watch like Kevin Durant and Golden State, or I didn't watch Shaq and Kobe. I did. I watched all of it. I like greatness. I want some classics. Fuck all that. I need some music. No, I need some dope ass music.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, obviously we get music all the time, but I need some, great music and something to be excited about. I mean, I thought that part was implied.
I'm sorry. Yeah. No.
But you know what? I love that diss record. You know what I keep playing, man? Troy Ave put out a diss record on a host of people. It's called Taxi Robber. It's mostly pointed at my son. I enjoy it. Can't lie. It takes me back to the 50 Cent days where 50 was just going in on people. It was kind of like I Run New York-ish. But, and the fact that he used the window shopper beat. But I liked it. Again, it's one of those records that I just kind of kept playing. Like, yo, did he say that? Did he say this? Did he say that? Well,
But where does it stem from?
It stems from people coming at him about this whole tax tone situation. And to be perfectly honest, man, like, not to delve too much into those things, I just don't understand what people's problem really is with Troy Ave, just from the outside looking in. Like, what is he supposed to do? You at a party, somebody run up on you and your people, kills your man, shoots you and your girl, and you somehow get the weapon and shoot back. What's he supposed to do when law enforcement gets involved? What's he supposed to do?
So is he being labeled like as a snitch?
Yeah. Because you know what? In New York, you know how they are with the guns. You get on the stand, they ask you how you got the gun, and is it yours? It's like, no, it's the nigga who tried to kill me and kill my man. It's like, is that snitching? Like, what? I mean, he survived, and but again, maybe there's some things left out that I don't know or don't understand. But if that's the case, I don't know. I think people have misplaced anger when it comes to that, or maybe they just don't like him, or maybe they just want a reason to not like him. But even after all of that, he has a very entertaining diss record out there that, as a hip hop fan and listener, kind of enjoyed. I can't front. Anime Bros Podcast with the super chat says, does Diddy have a 5 mic album? No Way Out could be 5 mics.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. The songs and like some of that stuff is not. It's not enough in the middle. Like when they hit, and there are a lot of home runs that they hit. You know what I mean?
A lot of home runs. It's not a lot of albums out there with the All About the Benjamins, A Victory, Been Around the World, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. It's not a lot of albums out there like that.
Like good classics like Young G's and stuff like that. But what I'll tell you, Mike, after those records, there's a drop off.
I like the record with Kim. I've said on this show before, if Jadakiss or even Mace has that record, that's a hit. That don't you stop it, don't you stop. That shit's a banger.
They should have actually kept that for one of their albums. Any of the three of them.
I agree with you, because that should have been a single, and it wasn't a single on that album because that album just had everything on it. And I didn't even mention I'll Be Missing You. I didn't even mention the record with Twista, what they did the new edition of. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Somebody in the chat will say it. T Nitty with the super chat says, have you heard is it Drasmatic? Yeah, Drasmatic. Play It By Ear. Haven't heard that. He said it's fire. Got to check it out. This Is the End. That's the song I'm thinking about. But yeah, a lot of joints on that album. And if somebody felt like it's a classic, man, I mean, it got some heavyweight joints on it. LP with the super chat says, Benny is appealing to what the fans want. Makes perfect business sense. They're trying to make an undeniable classic. August means they're taking their time.
I agree.
But see, I agree with all of those things, but also,
I mean, what you gonna do? Nah. Do
that,
you know? Nah. Pain? Nah. Friend with Foxy Brown? Nah. Senorita?
you didn't
Nah.
like Senorita? Senorita's dope.
Nah. That's what I mean. It is like the nose on there or nose.
I'm gonna go back and listen to the album back and
I Love You
forth.
Baby, the shit with Black Rob too. That's what I mean. Even their street joints like I Love You Baby and Young Jeezy, it's like no. They hit with some of the street bangers too.
Yeah, I Love You Baby's great.
I Love You Baby's great. Black Rob, underrated storyteller. We should have brought up Rob in our storytelling convo.
Oh yeah, he's definitely underrated when it comes to the storytelling. Um, what was I gonna say, man? Oh yeah, Swiss Beats got on the Breakfast Club, and he insinuated or kind of put it out there that there may possibly be a Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim versus in the works. How do you feel like that plays out if that were to hypothetically happen?
Want to rumble with the B, huh?
I think this would be interesting in the fact that
The whole family.
this is the first time that we've actually had a generational versus, because usually it's people from the same era, and people from Nicki's era, like Mad Max, if he's still in the chat, they would tell you that Nicki would wash Kim, and people from Kim's era would tell you that Kim would wash Nicki. So then it becomes
dishes after Kim get done eating her food.
Then it becomes one of those things, what do you play? Then it becomes one of those things, what does Nicki play? Because Nicki has the bigger catalog, right?
Most dudes can't wash Kim, Mike. What are we talking about?
I want to see it.
Watch most of these dudes.
I want to see it. I want to see it because people feel like Kim will get washed. And
you don't know. Mike, there are grown men walking around here that we think are great lyricists that don't want that smoke.
What do you
Mike,
think?
let me ask you something.
What do you think Kim plays?
No, Mike. Let me ask you something right quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You think Ray and Ghost beat Kim in the verses?
Yeah, I think so. But again, I might be biased to that.
You sure? You think Common beat Lil Kim in the verses?
Now that'd be difficult. No, I don't.
Black Thought beating Lil Kim in the verses?
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mike, you think most AKA Yasin or Talib beating Lil Kim in the verses?
I don't think so.
But y'all think Nicki is?
Nicki's one of the most successful artists.
Trying to hear that
period.
Shit. I'm about the songs.
I'm just saying she's successful for the songs. Like
Mike,
all of her stuff is charted.
Mike, you gotta have the records.
Listen, man, if I had money on it, I'm picking Kim. But I think it's interesting because again, sonically it's generational. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff that I'm not really a big fan of when it comes to Nicki, a lot of people are though. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't talking about that, Mike. Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look at it like from the perspective of how people really rock with people, and this is what I'm saying. Like Mike, if they do this versus, they're going to be 45-year-old women dressing like they're 21 again, like for Kim. You understand what I'm saying? That shit gonna hit different when Kim shit drop. Like when No Time drop, Mike, that's like when Ain't No Half Steppin' by Big Daddy Kane drop. That ain't no regular record.
Listen, I'm with you, man. And I think that
record, Mike. When Crush on You drop, that ain't regular, Mike. When the Quiet Storm remix drop, that ain't regular. When the All About the Benjamins verse, that ain't regular. She not regular.
I'm not gonna be
Money, Players Anthem. I Need You Tonight. Oh no, Mike, it's too much burn.
No, I feel you.
Put your lighters up since we talking about burn. Mike, the jump off.
Yeah.
How many licks? No matter what people say. You want me to keep Mike? No.
She got joints.
No.
She got joints. I think where Nicki and Nicki made a choice. And similar to what I say about Eminem, right? I think Nicki made a choice early on to say, you know what? I'm going to make my music more so for over here than for the hip-hop crowd, per se, or try to split time. And so for her material, that core hip-hop audience that does watch Versus, I mean, because let's keep it real, like, the Versus audience is that hip-hop urban dynamic. And so Nicki is gonna miss some of that core audience because of a lot of her catalog caters to, another demographic.
That's what I'm trying to say, Mike. You got to look at it from this perspective. Let me just break it down for you. If they doing this is Nicki and Kim. This is Queens and Brooklyn. Mike, they doing that in the Garden.
Yep.
That Kim, Mike.
You can't go out there and play Starships. You can't.
They gotta take.
And Nicki and Kim can't go out there and do Lady Marmalade.
To the Garden, Mike. That's some rap shit.
And again,
seen what the Locks did.
Kim can't go out there and do Lady Marmalade either.
What about this? If the Locks and Dipset got the Garden, you think Nicki and Kim is not a Garden affair? No, that's a Madison Square Garden affair. That's Brooklyn and Queens.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Coop, once Nicki does the verse for Monster."
Okay, I'm gonna say this again. First of all, Kim got about 10 verses better than that verse. Stop talking about that verse like that verse is everything.
You think Kim got 10 verses better than the Monster verse?
At least 5. I might have been exaggerating with the 10. At least 5. The Quiet Storm remix verse is better. Mike, to be honest with you, I think the first verse on No Time is better. The verse on All About the Benjamins, Mike, is one of the best verses ever. I don't care what anybody says. That's definitely better than any shit Nicki's ever put down.
You think the first verse on No Time is better than the Monster verse?
Yes. Shit, I think all the verses on No Time better than the Monster verse. I was just giving you the first one. Right back at you, the one Cleopatra, digging in your stash. She got more style, Mike. Styles make fights. Let me see, what else she got? Ooh, you want to know what was one of her better verses? Remember the We Don't Need It off the Sunset Park soundtrack? Some bitches do and some bitches don't. Ride a dick till they bust shit. I know I won't. Niggas come
They say you tripping in the chat. Cool.
If you ask me, no, I mean, she's just better. She's just a better MC, Mike. She make better songs. She make better records. If she play We Don't Want It, Mike, that's a better, like, that shit gonna ring in the Garden, Mike.
I think
if she play We Don't Want It in the Garden and C's come out, if you ain't sucking, we don't want it. But no, the whole Garden gonna be singing that shit, Mike. It was a whole jam.
I think La Bella Mafia was her underrated album.
She made more anthems than Nicki for this culture. And it's gonna ring out if they go toe to toe. It is.
People think Nicki might get her. I'm looking at the chat right now. People are saying Nicki got style and stuff too.
Hey, Mike. This time, if that happens, you and me, we go into the Garden together about that shit.
I want to see this. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, everybody knows every single...
Like,
what's
15 to 5. I'll put a number on it like I'm Ali. She'll beat Nicki 15 to 5. 20 records, 5. Nicki only getting 5 records off Kim.
Wow.
And that's if she bring all her A game. She better bring her A+ game.
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, everybody knows every single word to Kim's Quiet Storm verse and many of her other verses. What Nicki verse are we rapping word for word?
People don't even rap the Monster verse. That's what I'm saying. No.
And the Monster Crow. I know that verse.
Like, literally, if you go to a woman that's within our age demographic, like 35, hot damn hoe, here we go. Hard as a rock, bitch. Nuh-uh, stop that. You go run a rumble with the beat. No, they know these words. To get money, Mike. All that. No, it's too memorable. She's memorable, Mike.
I think she might have the best verse on All About the Benjamins, or the standout verse.
I told you, Mike, the Puff's part that Kiss wrote is the most quotable, which I want to be ball. But every other quotable line that you remember from that song, really?
Dressed in all black like the Omen. How your friends singing, this is for my homie. You know me, for making niggas so sick. Yo, she killed that shit.
Murder, you know she wrote it. German Ruger for your ass, bitch, deep-throated.
Know you want to feel the room because it's platinum coated.
Mike, that's some of the illest shit I ever heard. Know you want to feel the wound because it's platinum coated. Oh, it was like she's stellar, Mike. She's stellar on the mic. Nicki don't want that. Because you know what it is? In the biggest moments, she shows up.
Somebody said I rap like Montel Jordan. That's hilarious.
The bigger the moment, Mike, the better she does is what I'm saying, Mike. Like, the bigger the moment is, the better she gets. Nicki don't got it like that. So think about all the big moments she was put in position to have. Like, think about this. Okay, so she got No Time, right? She got, what else she have as a single? Crush on You?
Mm-hmm.
She's got Get Money. She's got Play His Anthem. She's got the Get Money remix. She's got I Need You Tonight. She's got Put Your Lighters Up. She's got the Jump Off. She's got How Many Licks. She's got the Quiet Storm remix. She's got All About the Benjamins remix, Mike. I'm already at 11. You feel me? She got Magic Stick with 50. She got shit everywhere, Mike. That ain't even like getting into like some of like the deeper stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you don't want that.
You're not. You don't seem to be giving Nicki any credit though. You don't think that Nicki got, you know?
Songs. I just named 11 off rip. You got 11 Nicki records off rip for me, Mike? It's legendary. I didn't name regular records. Every song that I just named is legendary.
You don't like Moment in Life?
So one.
It's not a moment. That's not a moment for Nicki.
One.
Peter Parks with the super chat says Kim is the originator. Nicki would have a problem because her pop hits won't ring off like that.
You don't understand,
like when you go on to all right, I'm gonna go on to Apple Music real quick. That's not even a plug. It's just what I'm doing. So if I pull up Nicki, right, the top songs are Motorsport. That's a Migos song. Fifi, that's 6ix9ine song. Big Bank, that's YG featuring 2 Chainz. Ball for Me, that's Post Malone's song. And Only, that's the one with Drake and Wayne. Hot Girl Summer, that's Megan's song. All Eyes on You, that's Meek's song.
She don't want this one.
And Do You Mind, that's DJ Khaled's song. Now let me pull up Kim and see I want to see what the first 10 Kim songs are.
I forgot about Lady Marmalade, Mike. That's what I'm saying. She don't want this smoke. Even on that reaching outside the box stuff, it's like, no, Kim don't even have Nicki don't even have a Lady Marmalade.
All right, so the ones that pull up for Kim is Let It Go. That's, Keisha Cole featuring Missy. Then you got Lady Marmalade. Then you got I Can Love You. That's Mary. Then you got Magic Stick.
Classic. Another classic, Mike.
Then you got Magic Stick. Then you got Quiet Storm remix. Then you got The Jump Off. Then you got Crush on You. And Money, Power, and Respect. It's interesting.
Mike, I told you she got stuff everywhere. Classic.
And at least, I would say, of these 8 songs mentioned, 3 of them are hers. None of those songs that I mentioned, except for Only, on Nicki's top 8, were her songs. So, I mean, I just go by that because, the streaming numbers culminate, to make these rankings. And so her biggest stream songs seem to be other people's records.
And what if Kim start like doing like the Rick Ross shit and pulling out the records like from the album? Like, what if she pull Queen Bitch out? Nicki ain't got nothing for Queen Bitch.
That shit's a classic.
That's what I'm saying. I just named 12
That's
records.
one of her best songs to me. I think that and No Time are my 2 favorite records from her.
Mike, Lighters Up.
Yeah, it's an anthem.
Mike, get your shit together with T.I.
I never was a big fan of that. You remember the song, I think this on La Bella Mafia, I Came Back For You?
Yeah.
Kanye West on the beat again.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know me, I'm the Kanye plug guy, right?
Remember Espacio with Black Rob?
I like Espacio. Espacio's dope.
The shit. She smashed on Espacio.
Hey, Ye, man. Ye needs to do a good music brunch, man. I'm doing too much defending to not get an invite to a brunch because I feel like I've possibly ruined my chances of going to 2 other brunches.
You need to stop defending that nigga.
Gary Pierce with the super chat says, Kim is smashing Nicki, and I'm born and raised in Queens. 16-4. Easy.
Told you. I told you 15-5.
You're giving Nicki a couple. Andrew Williams with the super chat says, Kim's verse on I Can Love You Better with Mary is better than Nicki's verse.
Dipping on your ninja Honda, Tanisha and Ronda. Why?
Them pop records spent time making her career gonna get exposed versus Kim. Yeah, I mean, I've said this about Nicki. I mean, I get it. If that's your direction coming in, do your thing. And I think she did that well. But when you have to come back to hip-hop spaces, you kind of suffer. You know what I'm saying? Because that pop audience moved on.
Like you mean Madison Square Garden versus Lil Kim? Yeah.
I feel, like I said,
not gonna fly in the building.
I feel the same way about Eminem's catalog. That's why it doesn't play well, because he was making music for another audience. You know what I'm saying? And And Nicki's gonna see that too. She's gonna have to play the bees in the trap and stuff like that from her catalog. At least she has some. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it'll be enough against somebody like Kim. Kim didn't really derail
Trap is not
from there.
beating one of those 12 records that I named.
It's not.
She in trouble, trouble, trouble.
They say I'm not getting an invite to the good music brunch either. Okay.
Very problematic because people
I
definitely feel like
I guess we got to do our own brunch.
They make Kanye's running mate, like Joe Biden, Kamala running. It's Ye and Mike B.
Shout out to Ye. Let's get him.
We don't even know where this nigga is.
Right. He's somewhere creating. Oh, the other thing Swiss Beats said on the Breakfast Club interview that I thought was interesting. He said that his 5-year-old son helped Kendrick Lamar get out of writer's block. And I thought about it, and Kendrick, based on Billboard's estimation, second greatest MC of all time. Now, there's no shame in having writer's block. I think everybody has a stint where they don't feel as creative as they once did. People are on a roll, they're on a roll. I think Supreme Clientele is one of those times when the nigga's just on a roll. But can you be the second greatest MC of all time and have a 5-year writer's block?
No,
in your prime?
5-year writer's block, you just need to snap out of it and make something dope. So here's what I'll tell you. Let's say in that 5-year gap that Rakim was gone from 92 to 97, that he suffered from some writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he gave us It's Been a Long Time. The Saga Begins. New York. The 18th Letter Intro. The Mystery. Who Is God? When I'm Flowing. There's classic joints on there. And so when I'm talking about the Kendrick album, it's like, no, 5-year break, writer's block happened, life happens, you're going through things, you need therapy, I understand all that. Where the classic records at, fam? I ain't even asking you to make a classic anymore if you're taking a 5-year break. I'm asking people, where are the classic songs at? Mike, where's the It's Been a Long Time? Mike, he made the song, It's Been a Long Time, because he was aware of the fact that he had been gone for 5 years and he wasn't just about to skip over it. You know what I'm saying? The first 2 songs are Guess Who's Back and It's Been a Long Time. It's him acknowledging, I know that y'all have been gone and y'all have missed me. Here's some product. Even Guess Who's Back is a dope record. I just think It's Been a Long Time and The Saga Begins should have been the first and second singles respectively, followed by Guess Who's Back.
And you don't think Kendrick did that on Mr. Morale?
Stay a While. Remember Stay a While? Stay a While's dope.
You don't think Kendrick did that on Mr. Morale, though?
What I'm trying to tell you is that the 18th Letter album, do I think that it's Volume 1, which came out the same day?
Mm-hmm.
No. Do I think that it's dope? And do I think it's reflective of the guy that at the time was considered to be the greatest MC of all time? And did he give us evidence of that? Yes, I think all of those things. So for people who felt like Kendrick was the best, and for people who felt like it was like that, and I want to be clear when I'm saying this too, Rakim's 4-album run is just as good as Kendrick's up into that 5th album. Because here's the reality of the matter. Kendrick don't have no paid in full follow the leader or let the rhythm hit him. He don't. Good Kid, Mad City's not better than any 3 of those albums. Maybe Let the Rhythm Hit him? Maybe.
That could be generational talk.
No, Mike. Think about the records that don't Let the Rhythm Hit them that are classic and tell me how many classic joints from Good Kid, Mad City.
I'm a Rakim guy. And, I'm going to pick the Rakim.
Damn that being a guy, Mike. It ain't about if you a guy. It's about what the records say. I ain't talking about being no fan. I'm talking about record for record.
You think Good Kid, Mad City is... you think that Let the Rhythm Hit him is better than Good Kid, Mad City?
I'm about to pull up Let the Rhythm Hit him, Mike.
Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says Mike wants to chill with the KKK. No, that's not. Obviously not. I don't think that would fare well for myself as far as chilling goes.
Okay,
there would
Mike,
be no chilling going on.
Mike, let's just pause for a second. You ask if Good Kid, Mad City is better than Let the Rhythm Hit. Let's just go ahead and start at the top.
Let's go. Hold on.
No. It's 11 songs, Mike. Where is the In the Ghetto, Let the Rhythm Hit 'em, or Mahogany on Good Kid, Mad City? Name one record better than the three records I just named.
Go for it again. You said Ghetto.
Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, In the Ghetto, and Mahogany. Name one record on Good Kid, Mad City better.
Now, one would say that you could put
Money Trees.
You could put Mad City up against Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
No, you can't.
Money Trees is pretty great. You want to put Money Trees up against Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em?
Mark, that's not good enough. That's what I'm saying. If what you got from if the best thing that you got is Money Trees, you think, Mike? I'm asking you this. Do you honestly think that Money Trees is better than Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em? Not the album, the song. Like, you honestly think that?
To me, it's not. But I could see someone saying that.
I can see somebody making an argument.
Yeah, because Money Trees is a very good song. It's a great song. It's well put together.
No,
the hook, the beat,
song,
the bridge. You know what? The rhyme performance from Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, and again, Rakim being the best lyricist I ever heard, and as a lyricist of the vein of lyricists that I love, that makes me lean towards that. But it's not a crazy thought to say that Money Trees is a better song.
Hold on, Mahogany or Poetic Justice?
I think Poetic Justice could win that. We didn't even go to Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Like, no, man.
I think Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is the best. That's my personal favorite song on there.
And then we're not even talking about records like Mad City. Or
Backseat Freestyle.
Backseat Freestyle, yeah. The Art of Peer Pressure.
But also,
it's a tough album.
No, it's a tough album. Okay, so let's say Good Kid, Mad City is better than Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. Is it better than Paid in Full or Follow the Leader to you?
It's not better than Paid in Full. Now, that's out of the question.
No, that's out of the question.
Now, Follow the Leader, we could have another debate, possibly,
Okay, so we're gonna start at the top again, Mike. Except for this time, the top is much tougher.
It's much tougher.
Where's the Follow the Leader, Microphone Fiend, and Lyrics of Fury? I'll wait once again.
So this is what I would do.
If you think it's not Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, if you go to Follow the Leader, oh, Mike, don't sit up here and play around with me and tell me that Money Trees is even close to those three records that I named, because it's not.
So what I would do, I would put Money Trees up against Follow the Leader. I would put Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe up against Microphone Fiend. And then I would put Mad City up against Lyrics of Fury.
Those are all L's, Mike.
Even when you do that, I have so many more records left from Good Kid, Mad City.
Those are L's, Mike.
You think so?
Those are L's.
Gary Pierce with the super chat
3 L's
says,
off top, though, Mike. You're taking 3 L's off top. Are you sure? Like, so, okay. So
I'm not sure of that. I mean, I listen. I know what my listening, ear is gonna go towards. But what I'm saying, for people who came up in the Good Kid, Mad City era, they would say those records are better. I mean,
why are people playing them? Because they still playing these Eric B. and Rakim records we talking about. That's why I'm bringing those records.
You don't think they play Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe?
Like, you understand that the records I'm talking about are still getting played. Like, they're still lauded. Like, who lauds these Kendrick records? Who walks around when they talk about Kendrick and talks about these records that you're talking about?
What do y'all think in the chat?
When we talk about Rakim, we talk about these records. So how classic are they? That's what I'm asking you.
So you're
like, nobody's talking about these songs like that.
You're questioning the classic nature of Good Kid, Mad City.
I'm questioning the classic nature of the songs in relationship to when you have to go up against somebody who has truly made timeless classics that have stood the test of time. Now, was it a classic for then, or is it all-time classic? Because I'll tell you that there's what I like to call a classic for the times, and then there's all-time classics. I'll give you an artist, and I'll give you an example. Mike, I feel like Water for Chocolate is a classic for the times. I feel like B is an all-time classic.
Okay. I'm fair with that. Gary Pierce with the super chat says, screw all the brunch talk. Do an according to hip hop brunch. And am I bugging? Where's the 2022 year-end book? I have the 2020 and the 2021 book. Are we getting a 50th anniversary hip hop book instead? First things first, yes, we will do an according to hip hop brunch. I think that's an incredible idea. And working on a few things, and that's going to be nice.
We're building towards a brunch. We're actually starting to do events. Our first event is the Juneteenth event that we're doing with my man LT with the Stop the Violence tour that him and his camp.
Let me put that flyer up. Go ahead. Keep talking.
some of Benny's artists, BSF is going to be actually in the building for the event doing some performances. We've got some wonderful artists and some things going on. I was on the phone with the homie Sade today. She's going to be cooking. So we got one of our food vendors taken care of. But yeah, Mike, put the link up. The Eventbrite is up. It's $20 ticket. $20 ticket gets you entry into the facility for the performances. We're going to have multiple performers. I think we got 4 right now. We're trying to make it like about 10 performers at the most. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody gets proper airtime. But BSF is going to be in the building. The $20 ticket is going to include 2 drink tickets at our bar for libations, access to the facility, the show. We got a lot of stuff planned out. You're going to get to flick it up with me and Mike D and take photos and do photo ops with us. We're going to have merchandisers. We're going to have vendors. It's going to be a really, really good time. I'm working on some community initiatives. I'm reaching out to some people tomorrow about doing some things. Hopefully, people will be coming through because I still want to make it a community-driven event as well. FDL's been nice about opening up our compound to them. It's another day, Mike. They're doing that. They're doing the free class at FDL right now every Wednesday from 7 until. Did you put the flyer up for that too?
Yeah, that's in the community section, so you can click the link to get all the information on that.
We really need to stress our health and our wellness, Mike. We got too many of us having strokes, heart attacks, diabetes. It's like this is a free class in the Black community with the hopes of helping get the Black community healthy. And people, and I'll tell you this, when you are physically fit and you look the way that you want to look, it helps your mental so much more. And people don't understand that because sometimes people are scared about taking those first steps. But you got to take the steps to be healthy. I'm taking certain steps like cutting some fried foods and things out of my diet as I get older. I can't eat the same. I can't eat at the same times. My workout regimen has to be different because of my back and my knee issues. But, the point is to be here a long time. So please take advantage of the free class that Fred's offering down at FDL. 1959 Metropolitan Metro Fund Center. Pull around to the back. Shakita will be your director. She'll direct you all in. But it's a free class. Mike and I are going to be doing a podcast there soon. And inside of the space and outside of the space is where we're going to be holding our Juneteenth event with June 17th. Shout out to my man LT. Shout out to BSF, everybody involved. Shout out to Sequoia and High Spirits. We're coming with great things. So if people want the brunch to actually happen, we need them to start supporting our events before the brunch to actually make the brunch a thing that we can actually make happen. I don't know if I want to call it a brunch, Mike. I think the brunch thing is totally overrated, and I don't love brunch food. To be honest, I don't mind a nice glass of champagne or Prosecco or a little bubbly, a little sparkling wine, but we are going to be doing events. We're doing another drive giveaway event with Fred real soon. The FDL compound is going to be moving their facilities downstairs, so we got a little fitness and sportswear and shoe giveaway coming real soon for the community, where we're literally going to be giving away jogging suits and shoes for some of our Black men, and free weights and free machines for those who can actually transport and get these workout items back to their home. So,
all right. And speaking of the giveaways, we actually got free According to Hip Hop shirts available right now, like for this week only. So go over to the community section. There's a link where you can just go ahead and order your According to Hip Hop shirt, and represent the brand and all that. And yeah, it's free, just paying for the shipping. So it's no strings attached with that. And the link's right there in our community section. So take a visit to that, and just make sure that you snap a shot at yourself and send it to us so we can post that up too. Appreciate y'all coming in and representing. Dre7 with the super chat says, so Nas on the lead single, an album was done on his label, and in the Swiss Beats interview seemed like TBC, the Breakfast Club, went out their way not to mention Nas's name. Bizarre. Yeah, man, I don't know.
How bizarre is it?
Is it bizarre by now? Right. Mainstream media, I guess, can't mention independent acts. And mainstream media is Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is on BET and VH1 now as well.
It's fascinating to me how culturally so many podcasts have identified with this podcast that really hasn't been part of our culture for quite some time. It's fascinating to me. It really, really is. Like, I did a little pull up for our man Armin because Armin's coming to the A. And, you know, that's why I had to put you on the case about the podcast, Mike, because it's like every podcast that I actually thought of, it was like, oh, this just a Breakfast Club spinoff. I'm not saying it. No. I mean it as shady as it sounds. That's why I be telling people, I be walking around the city. It's like, yeah. Like, no. I like y'all. Y'all not better than me. Because it's shit original over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like Wu-Tang Clan coming out of Staten Island. No. This bar work different over here. We ain't doing this shit like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if niggas in the city don't like it or want to like talk about like how it's more East Coast based or whatever. It's like, well, you're not better than me though either. You know? So
hey man, you know it's a copycat league, as they say, right?
But man, plug my man up Armin to some Atlanta podcasts that don't fucking look like the Breakfast Club spinoff though.
Hey man, we'll have to connect those things because I know he's there to promote the music, and you know,
he
and
got a dope ass album coming.
Yeah.
Like I didn't heard a lot of this shit. Like it's fire. Like no. Like his project, Mike. Like I'm going to be extremely surprised if his project doesn't make our top 20 album list. That's how good I think it's.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be we're gonna be talking about that album Friday. I can't wait to listen to it. And believe it or not, I don't want to say believe it or not like that, like it's on some shady stuff. I will be listening to this Jack Harlow album too. I was surprised that they actually were releasing it so soon. Kind of like what you were talking about with the Benny, and Benny giving a date that's all the way out in August. With somebody like Jack Harlow, I thought that you might be hearing some stuff on the radio before, you know, they would actually come with a date. So it all seems so quick. And I'm interested to see, I guess, what they're doing over there. DJ Drama and them. And, I mean, it's still DJ Drama's artist, I believe. And so, yeah, we'll have some new music to speak on. And we'll actually have Armin here to speak on the new music as it's, you know, being released that day. So that's going to be special.
When did the White Man Can't Jump? When is White Man Can't Jump coming out, Mike?
That's coming out next week sometime. I know it's the first week of May. And I think that's straight up Hulu. So maybe his project is more of a soundtrack or something.
Hello?
I mean, and you know what? And if that's the route they're going, that's smart, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have music that could be played, basketball could be played to, and they could be played in the backdrop of basketball matchups, it's probably going to be some dope stuff. And it's probably going to be some stuff that carries. So I think that's smart.
Chances are that this album is intentionally dropped to help promote his stature and to help the movie hand in hand, like soundtracks have done notoriously for rap artists in the past who weren't white, Mike.
No, but it did wonders for the one who is. This is 8 Mile all over again.
I was thinking this is Jay too.
Well, yeah, Jay was able to take advantage of soundtracks.
Let's go to the black man that did it too.
No. Jay did it in a different way, but because Jay never really starred in any of those movies. 8 Mile was actually Eminem's movie. And
the
so,
fact that White
and
Man
I
Can't
think
Jump is about to come out and this album is dropping so unexpectedly or suddenly. First of all, Benny has to wait because Benny's not part of the machine that Jack is part of.
Yeah. So okay. I think that if they take the premises, right, from what 8 Mile did for Eminem's career moving forward, it changed his overall image. Because believe it or not, guys, he was kind of the quirky rapper that was tongue-in-cheek before 8 Mile. 8 Mile added a seriousness to Eminem that really wasn't there outside of, you know, The Way I Am before. You know what I'm saying? And so his soundtrack record, I think, is the one that has the longest legs, which is, you know, Lose Yourself. And if they're able to kind of tailor Jack Harlow's image with this movie and have some music to match, that could be stuff that might connect. You remember the first White Man Can't Jump soundtrack?
No.
You know what song that really stuck with me on there? It was that Faking the Funk by Main Source. Every time I hear that beat, I think of Sydney dunking over niggas and shit. You know what I mean? Because it was all in the video.
Right. See,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean. They're giving him ample opportunity to. Because here's the thing.
He's getting a leg up to succeed on this one.
This is the real leg up to succeed because White Men Can't Jump is something that resonates in our black culture.
And it's something that's, like you said, it's already proven. It's not like they have to present to us a new Jack Harlow movie with a new title.
Well, listen to what I'm about to say. The person that he is replacing, we fucked with Woody from Cheers.
Yeah.
We fucked with Woody in the movie. Like the white guy he's replacing is part of how it goes because that was one cool-ass white boy who we gravitated towards because he was just a cool-ass white boy. He wasn't trying to be part of black culture. He was just a cool-ass white boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
And so they're trying to fashion him in that role because the way that they tried to fashion him these first couple times hasn't worked. Like getting carried through the Kentucky Derby, big mistake.
I truly think this plan has been in motion for some time. He said himself he didn't even have to audition for this role, which lets me know this role was already thought up about, for him and, packaged up for him before he even thought to even do movies. And so if that's the case, I'm pretty sure music coming with that package was also thought up. So this album seems like, a surprise to us, but I think this is something that's been in motion for a minute. And I wouldn't be surprised, just based on the film that it's next to, if it has some bangers on it.
It's going to have some bangers.
Just keeping it real. Leroy Green with the super chat says, so was the Nas song on Swiss Beats album His God Did? And Mike chill before Jack waits for you outside, like the picture. Yeah, he'll be out there waiting just like the album cover. Listen, man, I wish everybody the best. I'm just calling things as I see.
I'm just saying, for him to have the push that he has, the fact that we haven't heard a single, there's been no album, no real rollout, lets me know this is about the White Man Can't Jump and about cross-referencing him into black culture. Or maybe not cross-reference. Cross-reference is the wrong word. That's what you do when you market. There's cross-reference marketing going on to assimilate him more into black culture because the things that they've been doing haven't been working.
Yes. What else do we need to cover today?
Let's see.
I know everybody we already kind of had a Jay discussion, like on a whim. I know everybody kind of felt the way about, our assessment on Monday with the Ice Cube thing and Ice Cube climbing so high. What problem do people have with Cube? Cube has an incredible career, and it's not like, we're giving Cube any passes.
Hold on, before we go out with Cube right quick, Mike, quick playoff rundown. Tried to tell you, Mike. You want to know what I realize is going on? Devin Booker. First of all, I just want to say this for everybody that thought that the comments that I were making about Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn were wrong. Mike, when KD got traded to Phoenix, Dallas and Phoenix were literally a half a game apart in record. One team still playing, the other team didn't make the playoffs. So I know a little bit about my basketball assessment.
You're a big KD guy. KD's great.
I just know it works. Mike, that's what I'm about to say. You know why I'm a big KD guy?
He's great.
Did you just see how Devin Booker just played?
Yeah.
I like Devin Booker. Have you ever seen Devin Booker play that way?
Oh, I've seen Devin Booker put up 7
for 5 straight games,
Mike.
When you seen Devin Booker play like that for 5 straight games?
No,
Mike?
you're right. I mean, but see, when
you want to know why, Mike?
KD's added to the fold. I mean,
Mike. So if Kyrie, look at what Kyrie was doing with it. You see what Devin Booker's doing with it? That's what I'm talking about. It's like, y'all gonna double him? I'm gonna go get 45 every game without a problem, Mike. It's not like Mike, it's an easy 45 he gets.
This is somebody who has the ability to score 70 points in an NBA game. You make him the third option, he could do things.
People in trouble, Mike. People in trouble.
I don't see anybody beating. I don't see anybody beating them.
Because here's the thing. Like, LA don't have that third person that is Chris Paul or Ayton, in my opinion. And Golden State is going to come down to like, well, is Clay going to play like Clay? And because I think Chris Paul and Clay at this point is about a wash. And I'll tell you what, that puts Steph in a tight spot because Book and Steph about to cancel each other out. There's nobody left to guard KD except for fucking LeBron, Mike.
Bro, man, like listen. If
Niggas is in
if
trouble.
Golden State makes it out of this series, they're gonna be so winded. They're just gonna get beat down the next round.
I think LA gonna pound on Golden State if they do get out, and I think LA gonna be tired by the time they're done pounding.
I was gonna say both of those teams are struggling.
I'm taking Phoenix in 6 over Denver. I'm gonna take LA to finish Memphis off tonight. If De'Aaron Fox looks like De'Aaron Fox tonight, Sacramento gonna win this series.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take LA over them. It'll be Phoenix, LA. Nice little 7-game series. KD and LeBron for the first time in about 5 years. But Mike, remember when I picked Philly? Right?
You got Philly going to the finals.
Yeah, remember when I picked Philly?
You did.
Don't I look real good right now, Mike? Don't I?
They look good.
Because it look like Giannis going home, don't it?
It's a possibility. It's a strong possibility.
Mike, don't be surprised if Atlanta win Game 6 and take Boston to 7 and give Philly more
time to rest. I wouldn't be surprised at all. You know,
don't give Philly more time to rest. Last time Joel Embiid played Boston, he put 52 on them. They have nobody to guard him. They don't have nobody. They need to pray.
The way that Atlanta the way that Atlanta won the other night. I meant the way Boston lost the other night. That's series shifting stuff.
Mike,
I didn't like
Murray
the shot.
Out, Mike.
I didn't
Murray got suspended. Trey did that on a solo mission.
Yeah, I didn't like the shot that he took, but he made it.
I did because you want to know what? That's how he plays.
It is how he plays.
And he did win the way that he plays, or you're going to lose that way.
You're right.
He's like, no, we're in Boston. If I miss this shot, the series is over. But if I win, that's how he plays. He's a gambler, like he's a risk taker. That's how he plays.
But he shot it from damn near half court. I'm like, man, get in some.
Mike,
that was not a shot that any coach would co-sign, but he made it.
Just remember I said Philly and Phoenix, Mike. Just remember I said Philly and Phoenix.
But with that being said, though, even when you take a shot like that and make a shot like that, you got a lot of guts. That's a lot of balls. You know what I'm saying?
Steph type of guts. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He got guts, Mike.
And so going into the next game, the momentum is shifted because of a shot like that.
And I'm going to tell you why it's a problem for Boston. If you know who DeJounte Murray is and his story, he's one of those people with chip on shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And so he feels a certain type of way, in a good way, that team was able to pull out that game in Boston without him. And he doesn't want to step back on home court and be part of a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're going to say, well, damn, they played better without Murray than they did with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's money time at that point. Yeah.
Boston in trouble tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah. And going into a Game 7 with a team that just won 2 in a row and won like this, this is my thing about Boston. This young Boston team, as great as they are, I'm not sold on the heart of this team. And I saw that last year.
In his closeout game, Mike, this was a closeout game. He played horrible.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, Tatum was missing in the finals last year. And I don't really understand. And maybe I'm just saying this because, Jaylen Brown, I mean, he's from Marietta. Like, he went to Marietta High School. He's from our part of town, right?
I thought he went to Wheeler.
Oh, he went to Wheeler. He's from Marietta. Yeah.
But he's from Marietta, but he went to Wheeler. Same place Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Exactly. They got a great program. But what I was going to say is the fact that him and Tatum aren't that different for them to be they treat it like it's Tatum up here and Brown is down here. Like their numbers are very similar.
I'm going to tell you what it is.
They're both 3rd overall picks.
Brown is 2 steps ahead of Tatum defensively, but Tatum is 2 steps ahead of Brown offensively. And in this league, offense is what sells stars. So the assumption is that Tatum is the better player, but not by much, Mike.
I feel like Brown also gets to the hoop and gets you higher percentage shots as well.
He's a better athlete than Tatum, but here's what I'm saying, Mike. Here's the thing. How about this? This is how you should look at it. It's like Tatum has a lot of Paul Pierce and KD to his game with his jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
As in, it's silky, it's smooth, and when he gets to certain spots, it's damn near automatic. Brown comes more off as more of an athlete, like a LeBron. But listen to what I'm saying. He's not a LeBron type of athlete, but he's above Andrew Wiggins. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But he's in that vein of athletic score. Guys like that, not named LeBron, tend to wane over time. That's why you take Tatum, because case in point, remember old Paul Pierce still being able to bust Kobe's ass. There's 34-year-old Kevin Durant averaging 30. That's because the silky game is wet like that. Tatum has that to his game that Brown doesn't have. So though it's close right now, in about 5 or 6 years, Mike, there is going to be a gap, because Brown's not going to be able to do some of those things defensively, and Tatum offensively is still going to be able to do those things.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, if folks understood the concept of Cube's Frankenstein, that alone keeps him in the GOAT debate. If gangster rap had a logo, it's Cube with the fro. I'm with that. But see, Leroy Green, I wonder what Leroy thinks about the whole Jay and Cube thing, because Leroy's from the West Coast, believe it or not, people.
He commented on it. He still doesn't buy the whole Ice Cube thing, but here's what I'm saying. The way that we set up this criteria, Mike, I knew that somewhere somebody was going to get in and shock people. I just didn't know it was going to be Ice Cube.
Well, Uncle Fran brought up a good point, though. He said that we're not being, he might have been talking about me or just us in general. He said that we're not giving the same credence to Jay as we do, like, Rakim, because we talk about Jay stopping and not continuously going on or whatever, but we don't say those things about Rakim, who's been on a break for a long time.
Well, first of all, we haven't put Rakim in the mix like that yet.
You want to put him up against Jay real quick?
I'm about to say, so when Fam is saying that, it's like, well, you're right, but you're kind of like only using a piece of the data, because the real data is like, well, we ain't put Rakim to the test yet. We haven't pulled him out. We've pulled Jay out. We've pulled Nas out. We've pulled Cube out. We've pulled Pac out. We've pulled Big out. We haven't pulled Rakim out. So for you to say that is really not fair to us, because we haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Should we do it now?
Right.
Let's do it now before we leave.
Right, if you want to do Rakim to start ending the show and like get him started, we can. But it's like, don't say what we not doing, because I've said this as somebody to think that Nas is the greatest MC of all time. The two biggest peaks that I've seen, well, the biggest peak that I've seen was Jay at his peak, and the other biggest peak I've been told about is Rakim at his peak, and I'll never take that away from Jay.
Yeah.
Your peak does not necessarily mean that you are the greatest basketball player of all time, because, Mike, Wilt Chamberlain's peak for about 2 seasons, I think he averaged 50, 25 one season, and then 44 and like 22 the next.
Well, Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Mike, no, that's the best peak ever, but does anybody think Wilt's better than Kareem?
I think
Magic?
he is.
He's not.
I think Wilt's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay, Mike, that's fine.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, I'm actually not mad at the Cube versus Jay debate. We're good. What I was gonna say though is, sitting
up here with more rings and he got fingers. He talking about Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, if he was the greatest player of all time, he would have stopped at least 3 or 4 or 5 of those rings. And
we've had this discussion on the show before.
He's got 11, Mike.
Yeah, he played against. He
lost. Like he was running around winning the rings when Wilt wasn't around. He won most of the rings in Wilt's prime.
Cool. It's a team sport. It doesn't matter how great you are. You're not going to beat 6 Hall of Famers. You're not. It is what it is.
Mike, how about this?
One Hall of Famer is not going to beat 6.
Mike, if you really want to know the truth, Mike, most of those series, if you were to take the 3 best players on the court, Wilt, Bill Russell, and then Hal Greer, who played with Wilt, Mike. Don't give me that. Hal Greer is better than all them white boys that played for
He better than Havlicek?
Yes, he is. I think Hal Greer is a better basketball player than Havlicek. Because Havlicek shit was predicated on Cousy and Russell. And here's why Havlicek, and here's the difference between Havlicek and Hal Greer. Havlicek was a 6-man a lot of the time. Hal Greer started. He was Wilt Chamberlain, Scottie Pippen. He was Scottie Pippen before Scottie Pippen, Mike.
Oh, I think I see a comment in the chat that it reminded me. I wanted to address something that was in the comment section from, I think, our Monday show. Someone got offended when I said, when I made the statement about New Yorkers claiming Pac. I think that was from last Friday. But anyway, and I said, I think we was talking about Michael Jordan being born in Brooklyn. I was like, well, that's like New Yorkers claiming Pac. And they gave me a long history lesson about Pac being in New York till he was 13, 14 years old, which was pretty much more than half of his life. yada yada.
Then he went to school in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And he went to school in Texas.
This the thing though. When where was that love from New York when Pac needed it? If it's like that. That's all I'm saying. And there was a moment where that New York love and embrace, that could have shut everything down, right? And neither one of these individuals would have had the untimely demise that they had. At least not in that moment. And it wouldn't have been on no East Coast, West Coast thing. I remember, like, I mean, you and I talk about it. We've talked a rap roundtable about it. People in New York was not listening to Pac during those periods. Like, it just weren't. And so, if it was like that...
Yeah. They acknowledged it on show when I did the show with them.
Yeah. And I think, it was either that show or when Jarv came on here or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's common knowledge. So it just doesn't really jive to sit here and, claim an individual that got no love from that market that he's from, which I'm sure for him, that hurt even more. You know what I mean? Because he got love for New York, show love to New York. I remember Melly Mel saying on the recent podcast he's on, I think it was, might have been on Art of Dialogue, he was saying that Pac was trying to get him a deal before he passed. And so this is Tupac, right? Trying to get Melly Mel, one of New York's legends, a deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's... Nobody in New York was trying to get Melly Mel a deal? That's love right there. That's love for the culture. That's love for the creators, the originators, and that's love for New York. I don't know if New York as a whole reciprocated that to that individual. That's all I'm saying. And I think after all of this goes down, and then they're like, well, he's from New York, that comes off as disingenuous.
It does.
It does. Like, it just is what it is, man. Like,
That's
okay,
what it is.
Kanye West was born in Atlanta, too. Shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
So, Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn. You ain't never heard Mike say where Brooklyn at. Carolina boy through in here. He a country guy.
Yeah, he dedicated Old School on Me Against the World to New York and all of that. Where's the love, man?
It's very problematic.
I'm just saying.
Okay, Mike,
let's run Rakim through the joint before we get out.
I'm about to say, let's get started with Rakim and then let's get out of here. Right. I'm assuming we're starting Rakim down at 18 next to Slick Rick, like we tend to do.
I don't think we need to slide Rakim all the way down, do we?
We slid Jay and Nas down there.
Okay. Y'all already see I'm Rakim biased, clearly.
Obviously, Mike, because we literally slid Nas and Jay the same spot. You're like, we got to slide him there. It's like, yes, nigga. Slid the other guy from his ilk down there. Impact.
Rakim.
I would tell you that might still be Slick.
I say that's Rakim. We rap the way we rap because of this man.
We fly the way we fly because it's Slick, Mike, and it's more of a fly man's game than a rapper's man's game now.
But the non-fly guys even rap with the Rakim cadence. Like, Rakim has...
Hey, Mike, when Nas was asked to name his top 5 songs, he came up with Eric B. as president, but he named like 3 or 4 Slick Rick songs.
Yeah. But
so the guy we think is the greatest MC of all time, Slick Rick, is his favorite MC.
But when he came in the game,
he claims Slick Rick.
But when he came in the game, who did people compare him to?
Right, but whose style did he actually adopt and use for a whole song on Stillmatic? And who did Jay-Z start off his album by taking a whole song from and use on the hook the Girls, Girls, Girls?
Why is Illmatic important? People thought Rakim was back.
It might be a tie, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, man, like, Illmatic...
Let's let the people decide. Let's go to the next one.
All right.
Live performance is Slick Rick.
Yeah.
Lyrics is Rakim.
Yep.
Storytelling is Slick Rick.
Correct.
Classic albums, Rakim.
Yep.
It's classic songs, Rakim.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Paid in full alone. I mean, not alone. Paid in full.
Paid in full's not.
No. Paid in full matches up with the Great Adventures, and then Rakim keeps going. That's the thing.
Okay, I was about to say, right.
Yeah.
As far as hit making goes, actually, Greatest Adventures exceeds.
Think so?
You understand that? Mike, Children's Story, Mona Lisa, Teenage Love, and Hey Young World are bigger hits. Yes.
Okay, we got Eric B as president, Paid in Full, I Ain't No Joke, My Melody, and you got I Know You Got Soul. Damn, that's a crazy album.
No.
And I ain't even count another record. But go ahead.
Mike, you just want to talk about Rakim on end. Longevity of albums, Mike.
That's Rakim. Paid in Full came out first.
Hold on, we got a lot of back and forth on the Slick Rick and Rakim. Yeah, we're tying that impact thing.
Okay.
Paid in Full did come out first. Longevity of songs, I think that's Slick Rick, because Lottie Dottie in the show came out first.
Forgot about those. Yeah. Okay.
Lottie Dottie in the show existed before.
We could do that. All right, that's cool.
Yep. Classic collaborations, that's Slick.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Career longevity quality, well, that's Rakim.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where he wins. Okay.
I think he wins voice too, but Mitch with the super chat.
I don't know about that. The voice might be a tie too. Matter of fact, no, he doesn't have a better voice than Slick Rick, Mike. No,
I think he does, but it's not by a lot. It's not by a lot.
Tell me about that, Mike. Okay.
I'm Rakim biased, man. This is
You're
terrible.
obviously Rakim biased. Okay, you want to move up? You want to move up to Snoop?
Let's move up to Snoop.
At 10? Because Slick Rick's our qualifier. Okay. Snoop. Impact, Rakim, or Snoop?
Rakim.
I'll give you that one. Live performance is Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrics are Rakim.
Yep.
Storytelling's Rakim.
Or is that Snoop? Snoop's a really good storyteller. How many stories does Rakim really give us? We got Mahogany.
In the Ghetto. I guess that's not a story.
It's not
Know
really
the
a
Ledge.
story.
Know the Ledge and Mahogany pretty high level. What does Snoop have?
Is Know the Ledge a story?
Know the Ledge is a story, yes.
I think Murder Was the Case is a story.
I don't think Murder Was the Case is better than Know the Ledge, though.
Huh. I've never thought about those two things with my nigga. I don't know. Murder Was the Case is...
No, I love Murder Was the Case. Know the Ledge might be a top 5 to 10 Rakim song, though.
Know the Ledge is incredible. Nah,
like,
I
Know
know
the
that
Ledge might be the best
I know that shit word for
made,
word.
not on Paid in Full or Follow the Leader.
I'm just thinking of... I think my mind has been altered how Murder Was the Case...
We're going to have to
Slaughtered Slippin'. Like, that was crazy
We're
to
gonna
me.
tie that. That's not Know the Ledge. Slippin' ain't Know the Ledge. It's a tie.
Now, Slippin's not Know the Ledge, but...
Classic albums, Rakim.
Yeah.
Classic songs is Rakim. Or is that Snoop? That might be Snoop. That's Snoop.
Yeah, it is.
Longevity of albums is Rakim.
Yeah.
Songs is Snoop. No, actually, songs is Rakim, too.
Longevity of songs, that's Rakim.
Yeah. Classic collaborations is Snoop.
Yep.
Career longevity quality.
That's Snoop.
Voice.
I think that's Rakim.
And that's where he moves on because it was close.
Damn, that's crazy. Mitch with the super chat says, Tatum's problem is he plays at an elite level in the post and can attack the basket, but settles for jumpers too much, coming from a Celtic fan.
He's got a jump shot, though. Okay, so you want to go up to Big at 7?
Yeah.
Because we got Scarface and LL right after Snoop. You want to put them up against any of them?
Let's go to Big. Let's go to Big.
Yeah. Impact.
Rakim.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not easy, but I think the only person that gets Rakim and Impact is Tupac off the top of my head. And maybe Jay.
Maybe Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, live performance. That's Big.
That's big.
Lyrics are Rakim.
Yeah.
Storytelling's big. Classic albums are Rakim.
Mm-hmm.
Classic songs might be big.
I think that's actually big, and that's crazy.
Big's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Longevity of albums is Rakim.
Yeah.
Longevity of songs is Rakim. Classic collaborations is big.
Yep.
Longevity quality is Rakim and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, and that's where.
I think Big got that voice though.
Yeah, but and if it would have got the voice, Rakim was about to stop right there, but it stopped right before. because Big does have the voice. Pac at 6, Mike. He's all the way at the top again. 6. Okay. Impact.
Pac.
That's 2. Live performance is Tupac 2.
Yep.
Lyrics are Rakim. Storytelling is Tupac.
It's getting scary.
Getting spooky out here. To Classic albums, Mike. That might be a tie.
I think that's still Rock. No, I'm wrong.
No, it's not.
I'm wrong. Because Pac got 3.
3 and 3.
Rakim got 3.
3 and 3. Yep, it's a tie.
Yeah.
Classic songs.
That's Pac, man.
Pac. Longevity of albums, that's Rakim.
Yep.
Longevity of songs, Rakim.
Mm-hmm.
Classic collaborations, that's Pac.
Is it? Pac didn't do a lot of collaborations, but
Thug Love, same song. What the MC Breed joint. Neither did Rollo.
Yeah, Rod didn't do a lot of collaborations either. I mean, especially in his prime.
We can tie that.
I still think that's Pac, though. I mean, because he still has Smile. He still has...
Smile.
Yeah.
No, game over.
That's still Pac.
Rakim doesn't have a smile.
Yeah.
Because he has a smile is Hoodlum with Mobb Deep or the True Hurts joint.
Yeah, that's Pac.
Career longevity quality, that's Rakim.
Okay.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3.
Jermaine Johnson says, Coop be talking 70s basketball like he's 83 years old.
First of all, I'm Coop. I know everything. Watch your tone. Voice, Mike. I say Tupac. Nobody thinks that Rakim has a better voice than Tupac except for you, Mike.
I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking
Mike, you're the
ghetto.
only person and you don't have a rationale.
I really don't. Because I'm sitting here thinking quiet is kept on the hush hush. Like, Rakim has an incredible rap voice. He has a jazz musician voice. Like, okay.
So
Pac won?
Ahead of Big. Yeah, Pac won by 1.
Oh, man, I'm not good with this. See, I feel like the J fans felt when Q beat him.
You better let that shit go. That's what this list is for.
Straight out of Farming with the super chat says, "The Dream is underrated." What are your thoughts? The Dream is underrated. Listen, it's funny somebody mentions that.
Here, it's according to R&B.
I don't know how this happened.
Michael Jackson and Prince last week.
I was actually listening to The Dream the other day, actually. I want to say this weekend. And I think Neo is probably the better songwriter of the two. But the sonics that The Dream comes with, he hits those chakras with what he puts together. The Dream is kind of underrated. It's hard to call somebody who sold their catalog for like $100 million and works with Beyonce and Jay all the time underrated, though. I don't know if that's the best word.
These are facts. Okay, so check it out, Mike. I'm going to tell you exactly what the next thing we need to do is. The way it looks right now is Nas is at 1. KRS-One and Ice Cube are tied at 2. That would put Jay-Z at 4, Pac at 5, Rakim at 6, and Big at 7.
Wow.
So we got to pull KRS out because we pulled everybody else out.
We didn't pull KRS out yet? Okay.
Nope.
Well.
So we got to pull KRS out next. And we are at 42 on our list, so we are almost done. After we pull KRS out, we do need to get to finishing the list, though.
Yep. We'll finish up the list. Let's try to have this list finished by next Wednesday.
I think Monday and Wednesday we need to get this list finished, yeah.
Yep. All right, Anime Bros podcast.
Right now, Mike, if I have to predict how it's going to go, I think that the way this list is going to look is going to say Nas at 1, Ice Cube at 2, Jay-Z at 3, Pac at 4, Rakim at 5, and KRS-One at 6 is how I think this is going to end up looking.
That's interesting. How do y'all feel about Ice Cube being number 2 all time?
You want to know what, though,
It's
Mike?
better than Kendrick being number 2 all time, right?
But Mike, this is what I mean about, like, it shouldn't be that much of a shock. When you look at the resume, Mike, when you really look at it, it's like, no, Straight Outta Compton.
No, this is a resume list.
Easy Does It, America's Most, Death Certificate, Kill at Will, Lethal Injection, The Predator,
As
West
Leroy
Side
Green said,
Connection.
he's the author of gangster rap.
Well, he is. He's
That's
the real
what it
author
is.
of gangster rap, Mike.
Yeah, because he's the pen that gave it reason. He wasn't just out there being
You want
gangster
to know?
for no reason. You know what I
want to know
mean?
who he is,
He
Mike?
gave balance.
He's very much the Ice Cube. Ice Cube is very much the OutKast of the West Coast in the sense. This is like no. Lyrically and style wise, what was getting done before him changed once he came. And that's really why he's so big, really, when you think about it. It's like, no, niggas didn't rap like that on the West Coast before Cube. No, they didn't.
And we have to be honest about the fact that we hold NWA very high, more so for the message than we do the production. And somehow, with this NWA thing, it feels like Dre gets more credit than Cube does. And it shouldn't be that way.
That's because they made 2 albums.
That's because they made 2 albums, but I'm talking about when we talk about Straight Outta Compton specifically.
No, Straight Outta Compton is Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Because Dre doesn't become, I tell people, Dre doesn't become Dre, production-wise, until like around DOC Niggas for Lifetime.
Niggas for Life is masterful.
Cube. Like Easy Does It and Straight Outta Compton, that's Ice Cube.
From a production standpoint, Straight Outta Compton has its incredible moments. Dope Man and, Gangsta and Straight Outta Compton itself. But the masterful Dre that we know of today, that starts on Niggas for Life. And like you said, no one could do it better. Anime Bros Podcast with the Super Chat says, Nas used more Rakim lines than he did Slick Rick. It's Rakim. Okay.
That's fair. He still beat Slick. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're giving Slick his props, man. Slick's incredible. Let's see. I think we got another super chat. Straight out of Farming with the super chat says, Hakeem the Dream, y'all. Oh, he's talking about Hakeem the Dream is underrated. I don't think he's underrated either. He gets his props.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Friday, new music. We're going to have Armin in the building, and we hope to see y'all then. Go pick up your free According to Hip Hop shirt in the community section. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. We're going to see y'all Friday.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and all that good stuff, too.